Hello, welcome back to another video, and today you can watch me talk nonsense and go insane for an estimated 3.5 hours, because this is the tutorial for the 7x7 cave door. The animation took so long that my epic narration is like out of time and relevancy now, and now it's like really unhyped. But yeah, tutorial for the 1575 blocks 7x7 full flush by accident cave door. And because we will be here for like over 3 hours probably, let's get right into the hole. I mean, like over the hole, but your doorway, 3 above, 3 left, 3 right, 3 down. So dig 4 down, or like 3 down, 3 under the floor, 4 into the ground. You know, the usual stuff. And for the shopping list or book, I should say, I initially planned to just put the chests next to each other, but then they would go out that way, and it wouldn't be like, you know, that they would go off to the right. So I decided to stack them downwards. So yeah, it's in chest in what's behind chest number 1. Yay, redstone components. So 29 torches, 98 dust, 71 repeaters, whatever the fuck this is, 64, 138 sticky pistons, 7 normals, 9 redstone blocks, 59 comparators, a permanently toggled input, so a lever, a button move, a T flip-flop, if you want a hopper timer which gives out like 30-second pulses at a time, whatever. I mean, I'm not like judging you, but that would like kind of be stupid. I mean, unless you want to clock it. The 18 droppers and way too many hoppers. 75, 89. Yes, I am studying something with math in university, and I need a calculator for 5 plus 7. Just to make sure it's 12. 1 dispenser and 1 water bucket. 6 furnaces, 1 composter, no cauldrons, by the way. 3 targets. To the target haters, fuck off. This can be built without targets. You are only needing the targets to redirect them from pointing into this wall block in particular, and that wall block. So if you are fine with this wall block and that wall being transparent, you can just build this without any targets. Okay, is the angry mob of people satisfied? Can you put down the pitchforks? Yeah. 1 trap chest, 2 tripper hooks, and a detector rail. And 19 outblocks, 8 pressure plates of any kind, really. It shouldn't be wooden, like, don't do wooden, but the rest will be fine. Or stone obviously also doesn't work, but like, you know, heavy weighted pressure plate, light weighted pressure plate. Are there netherite pressure plates? There are netherite black stone. Whatever the fuck this is. Yeah, just don't do wooden, just fuck off. You need 1 fence. Or end rod, or just go with fence. I don't know if end rod actually works. And a cobweb. What war crimes will Cube commit with a cobweb? And right under it we have the building blocks. These could have fit into 1 chest, but the chest would have been completely full and there would have been no way to structurally organize them in a neat way. So, here we are. 140 doorway blocks. And, yeah. If you want to color code them, there you go. If you don't want to color code them, you should have cobblestone flying around. Doesn't really even matter, you know. This is the input block. This is the input circuit. Yeah, don't, I don't know. Magenta is the bottom triple. Pink is the random block you use for the bottom triple. Purple is the bottom double, the singles. Light gray are the flushing corners. Dark gray is the side singles and doubles. Yellow and green lime sort of work together to do the side triples, whereas yellow is more of the actual triple itself. Lime is actually just the redstone block double piston extender control and wall closer, because if you paid attention, this wall block gets retracted, pull down, The redstone block gets inserted, and then the double boosting extenders out to here. So this is really just one of those deluxe crafting table block swappers. So block swapper where one of them is actually like one is flush and one is double boosting extended. But in a wall with a redstone block next to two triples in like a fucking mess. So yeah. And then orange is the bottom slider. You need some random blocks on a sand block. So sand, gravel, red sand, concrete powder. No dragon egg, no anvil, fuck off. And then cyan, light blue, and dark blue are just like on the 7, like this is all the 7x7 funnel color schemes. So cyan is the top doubles and singles, and actually 2 of the triples, because there are 3 triples in the top now. And I couldn't find any other colors, which are have a nice blue, so they're like in there come with well. Light blue is the quad, because we have a folded quad, and dark blue is just the redstone block control, which just is mostly dropper hoppers. So yeah. And then of course 8 soul sand, biggest soul sand, best block when working with minecarts or entities. 25 slabs or colored glass if you want that. And 3 obsidian or any other immovable block, you know. But I'm old school, I use obsidian and I use slabs. I would use glowstone, but I have built something in the past which actually the light updates from blocks you pushing around inside the wiring cover of glowstone was enough for me, was too much for my old PC, so I switched over to fucking slabs. Yeah, those were the days. What's in chest number 3? Minecarts. Now, yeah, about that. I'm pretty sure you could get away with less. I was just way too lazy to optimize them, because why the fuck would I waste time optimizing? Let's be honest. I barely know how to place these, so why would I make my life worse by like doing even worse clips for less minecarts? Yeah, 25 chests, 26 furnaces, and actually 3 hopper carts, as well as my first non-minecart entities. The llama from like 4 days ago doesn't count because like this door was built like 8 months ago, and I had to keep it secret because I didn't want, like, it would fit nicely to Christmas. I mean, I didn't keep it secret. I know keeping it secret is controversy. Like, I showed it to some people. Whenever someone asked, I just showed it to them. I just, like, didn't post to YouTube or, like, an official thing so the wider community didn't know. But, like, the people who flew around my plot could see it. It was there, open the open. And the usual clipping materials, plus an anvil for some reason, or whatever anvil hitbox you might have. I think a grindstone has the same hitbox, so don't quote me on that, just use I use an anvil, you can use whatever you think works. Yeah. And you may be thinking, like, last time we just used the powered rail clip, which is really nice. Why do we suddenly have the old reverse full clip again? Because I have no idea how to do, I'm pretty sure there's no way, besides the old reverse full clip, to clip the minecarts, which we need to clip, because this door has the most insane clip I've ever done, and I will probably ever do, and I think Arma hasn't done a clip worse than this. So, yeah. What's in chest number? It's unstackable items. It's more it's so many unstackable items. Send help. We need what? 27, 54, 108, 111. Wait, what? 108, 115, 137, 143 shovels. Woo! And send help for all of these. 40, 50 snowballs, and just, you know, just throw random dirt in there. The color coding of these don't matter at all. These two need to be different from all of these lime wool, and that's the only time the fucking color actually matters. So, yeah. Just make sure you have a bunch of snowballs, a bunch of blocks, and then 2 other blocks. The rest does not matter. And now that we've been through the shopping novel, and we've established that the hole is 7 by 15, 3 under the floor, and targets aren't necessary, and it's not directional, not locational. It would be locational on the 3 different spots, but I found fixes for all 3 spots, so it's not locational. Now that that's done, we can get into the tutorial after around, oh my god, 10 minutes! Yeah. So grab your input block and place it in the back corner right there. It doesn't matter if that corner, you know, this is the back of the door. Remember, the door will actually go out to here because it's flush, so you want to build the whole one backwards from your like doorway or whatever. If you're not using it flush, of course. And we're going to start with the magenta circuit, like on the 7x7 funnel. Again, like a lot of this is like leaned on to the 7x7 funnel because it's like a 7x7 and it has like the same basic requirements, just more. So yeah, I'm gonna like not rush through them, but like if you have seen the 7x7 funnel tutorial and just remember anything from that, you will see a lot of familiar things. So you want to start with your input block, torch on the side, drop her, and what we're having here is our first mini item loop, because we have an item right there, a hopper right there, and a hopper right there, and those just form a loop, because there's a piston redstone block here, we can't have this permanently locked, so that's what we're doing. And I guess this goes that way. So, first things first, we need a clip thing into there, into this comparator. Oh, I already have a rail. Yeah, already great start. There we go. That's our first cart, and then we can replace this, and then we just need a cart in this. So this one can actually just be dropped in from above, so just drop it in, and also you want to like push it over just a bit. You can make it floaty, or you can just push against the chest. It doesn't really matter as long as it's like in reach of this hopper. So yeah, what that does is, if we were to put an item into there, of course, what's that? And that's for this triple, because we have this triple, we have this pink block, and that's our bottom triple. Place a move block right there. And now we're going to start with the other bullshit. So we have another torch on this side and a random input circuit, which is the only input circuit really, just to get it to there. And then we have our master hopper timer. And once again, the master hopper timer is filled to the brim with bullshit. So we have 2 items right here. We have 2 shovels. And then we have a stack and 6 snowballs. This is once again for some arbitrary single strength math bullshit subtraction, which we are getting right into. So we're immediately subtracting 1 from this. And in this case we're actually, subtracting from a hopper downwards with a pink, with 2 purple wool inside. Why 2? Because we need to constantly subtract 1, and sometime during the firing, one of these will leave, and then we need another to keep it, to hold the line, you know. In theory, this could look like this, and then when the purple leaves and a new purple comes in, we still have 1 in, but, you know, fuck that. It's now too late to change that. So we're immediately subtracting 1, and then jumping over the torch, so we're not locking the thing, into another comparator, into a block, into another comparator, into a block, into a 2-tick on top of a dropper hopper, like so. Just place those already. 2 normal items inside, don't worry about them yet. As well as a block in there. with a dust on top. And if you have seen the 7 funnel, or you just know how redstone works, this will pull to the bottom and then extend the pink block, and that's basically the closing for the triple piston extender. Because then we just slide in the redstone block into here, and that's the triple. And then when we open the thing, we slide we slide the redstone block back out. And then what's going to happen is we need an ABBA gate to this. Purple will do the ABBA gate. I'll just place a temporary run right here. So we have 2 of these, and then we need 6 ticks to the ABBA. And then when the pink block gets put down and through the ABBA back over, we have this burnout right here, because there are actually 3 items in here, like so. And then this will fire the refiring of everything. So yeah, these 2 are red out. This one is red out that way. You see that fires, and that goes into the next item loop over here. So this item loop looks a bit different. We are getting the items from back here, and that from here, like that. And then, so what's currently happening is our items are trapped in this hopper right there, similar to how on the funnel the purple circuit with the redstone block for the double piston extender at the front kept the items on hold. This is currently keeping the items on hold, so that no items in here when the closing happens, because when the closing happens, this is the hard part, and we need 3 items to come through later, and we can't have an item come through right now, so that's why those are in there. We need a minecart in this, obviously, to get the thing. So place that. Place a thing, grab your chest card of choice. You don't really have a choice. As well as pushing it over that way. 3 places. So this does the thing. And what we do with the thing is reread it this way. Oh, don't worry about that. This is completely fine. The thing is still above the corner. And yeah, don't worry about this hopper. Like these 2 hoppers conflicting, because this dust powers the dropper and locks this hopper. So this hopper will always grab the item out of this minecart before the other has the chance to. And then we read this back out that way and fire this falling edge. In the funnel, there was a torch under this, and here we need a block because there will be stuff on the block. And that goes into this dust, which then fires this, which then goes through this comparator back into here. And what this does is the full retraction of the triple, as well as the final pulse of this double, but don't worry about that. That's just a neat bonus. I forgot to place this dust and cut this off, and hello, you're... Okay, we need another thing right here. And another thing right here. There you go. And now the items are stuck in... I mean, yeah, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be stuck in... Why are there only 2 of you? Ah, there we go. You're supposed to be stuck in this corner now, because the comparator is primary. Also forgot to place this. For reasons which will become apparent super late, we want to clip this card into this comparator. We will talk about that when we do the sides, which isn't happening until like an hour in, probably. So just clip this into there. Clip it. And then, which is really fucking counterintuitive, we just push it back out of the clip, because we don't want it clipped inside the hopper, we want it clipped inside the comparator. For reasons. And, yeah. So, now everything is done. I think we can place our door door block on top of it. Right there. And then when we fire this, should be able to see that this isn't working because no idea what that was. Excuse me. Hold on. What the fuck is... Alright, so we need to subtract a... I was planning on doing that later, but we need to subtract 7 snowballs from this. So, this doesn't get fired by itself. Because a single strength of 1 will come through here, through here, through here, fire this again. And then it can turn off this torch. So we need to subtract 1 from this, but for timing reasons on orange, we need to subtract a lot more, which always goes back to the fucking master timer. So, yeah, we're subtracting 7 snowballs, which is a single strength of I forgot 3. So this orange only fires when the second shovel comes in after 4 items total. And now we can do this. There's the closing. Waiting, I guess, yeah. And then... There you go. That's the whole triple on the bottom. Great. Moving on to orange, which is the redstone block slider. We start on this side red, we have a burnout right here. And we can't have that dust point into there, so we're just gonna place a turbo hook. And that burnout will fire this one tick and this piston through this and a note block below, which also has our slider with a normal, a sticky, and another normal, as well as our orange sand, concrete powder, and a redstone block on top. As well as, obviously, we need blocks for the sand to stand on right there. And, yeah. This is actually going to push upwards, so we're just going to block that for now. This blocking will be done by the turbo piston extenders, which will come later, so I'm just gonna place these for demonstrational purposes, you know. And, yeah, then we have our 7 floor blocks, and then we have the other thing on this side. So if we fire this now, you see the sand falls nicely back into place, which means this has to be sticky. This can't. This can. Whatever. And then the final pulse of this will just come from here, from purple, when this turns on, you know. And because we need a pulse and can't have this be extended permanently, because then the other side wouldn't be able to push, we need to negate this from here. With a 2-tick and a thing and a dropper hopper. Hopper. And an item. There you go. So this will now pulse once and do the thing. And then this is neatly done. So next up is purple on this side, presumably. So these will have to be pulled down, and this is the point where it starts to get really, really messy. So this ABBA gate can't be here because we need this room. So this ABBA gate is done by purple, but okay, so it's not by it's done by purple. Purple is holding this piston on for the perfect amount of time for this to turn off. However, for purple to turn off, we need magenta itself to do a thing, which is in orange. So magenta triggers the thing in orange, which causes purple to release the hold on the ABBA in magenta. But for this thing to be timed properly, so for magenta to trigger something in orange, which releases the purple ABBA gate, for that to be timed properly, we need lime to work. And for lime to work, we need yellow to work. And for yellow to work, we need light gray to work. And for light gray to work, we need dark gray to work. So this thing won't work for another 2 hours. Just saying that now. This ABBA gate and the triple won't work for another like 2 hours. The rest will, you know, come. Because we have a thing right here. Right behind this torch is a burnout, which triggers when this torch gets turned on. And this burnout will go through this one tick into this dispenser with a slab. And of course the water bucket, and make sure you place blocks so that the water can't go anywhere. And the dust. So what the water does is update this piston during the burnout stuff so it can actually extend. Because this piston actually pulled down one of these glass. And then this piston, yes, very cool. This piston pulled down another piston and this, and there you go. So this is our thing, and if we were to place a temporary obsidian right there, because once again the triple will be providing an immovable block for that, we can see that this would have done the thing if I did it properly. And yeah, there you go, the ABBA just doesn't work. So there's another torch right here to permanently extend this later, and as well as a dust and a thing to actually push the thing. And to properly retract this on the closing, we have our first part of purple. So purple is actually reading this dust right there through this into this, and another bullshit signal strength math thing which relates back to the master timer is this furnace, which has a shovel and 2 snowballs in it. And we are subtracting from that, so we unpower this and this. Now, if we fire this, these will subtract retract at the correct timing for this to be pushed over nicely, and we can see that in action. There you go, purple pulled downwards, and then of course the last pulse is missing for that. And then on the other thing, we have, I'm just going to place this in right now, we have another torch for lime. This is part of lime, but it's required to update the final pulse of that, so there you go. And so this piston, you saw this piston extend rather quickly when this does turn on. That can't be happening. So the reason why that happens is for the whole timing thing, which I just explained, with purple needing lime, needing magenta, needing orange, needing whatever, is because when we are in this position, oh, for fuck's sake, when we are in this position, and you can fuck off. When we are in, doesn't really matter. Yeah, when we are in like this position, this lime will keep this extended. And then this turns on, this can't fire. And then lime will release this, which causes nothing to happen. And then when this torch turns on, this extends, and the extension of this piston, and then lime does the thing with this, and then this. The extension of this piston causes the purple item loop, which we're about to build, to release the thing which does the ABBA. It sounds stupid, it is stupid. So we have a dust right here, we have another 1 tick, we have a block up 1 tick, and then we have our block with 3 torches on top. This one does the ABBA, this one is for this double piston extender, and this one goes off to the other double piston extender. And block of course on top, block right there, And the way the purple works, you know how these things work. We need to interrupt the signal shortly for a pulse. And that's how the retraction works. So that's why that's there. And it's really just, we constantly like are in this position. So this torch does the ABBA for this. And this piston extending causes the item loop to release this, which then turns this off, which then is perfectly timed on the tick for the piston to retract into the ABBA, and then everything else happens. You get pushed over. What? Oh. What? Wait. The fuck? Yeah, that's how it's supposed to look. So, you might be thinking, Cube, how the fuck do you check if this piston extends? Well, dear viewer, who sounds an awful lot like me, we have a cart in here which gets pushed up, which then loses an item to this hopper. So go ahead and place a minecart like so, going into a whatever. As long as it's not too far over, it will be fine. And make it floaty that way. And then break that piston. And don't drop it in yet because we need a second minecart, which just chills on top of the comparator. But it needs to be pushed against this minecart so that the minecart, when pushed up, this piston cannot push the minecart over and it will remain in its floaty position. There we go. Now we can just place this hopper. And so when we place this right here, so when it extends, the cart gets pushed upwards into range of this hopper and this hopper. So the minecart will lose one of its items to this hopper, and then we'll get another item from this hopper because it's in there, and then it will fall back down because it actually bounced off the bottom of this hopper. And this cart is there, so when it's up there and this extends, it won't get pushed over and, you know, happens and breaks the whole thing. So, and then this hopper losing an item causes the minecart above to lose its item, which causes this hopper to lose an item, and this hopper losing an item is what then does because, like, you know, it's like this, and then when this gets pushed up, this loses an item, and then the minecart loses an item, and then this loses an item, and the ABBA happens on the tick, you know. So how do we get an item into there? Well, that's actually the easy part, right? We just have 3 droppers right there, and then the thing right there. So there's an item in the middle one. The top one never needs an item because when this repeater fires, it's always this, then that, then that. So this pushes before this, and then this will always have the item from so empty 1, and this has to be full, like really full, because this needs to be full. Because as I just said, this needs to lose an item, and the minecart needs to lose an item, and then this needs to lose an item. So the minecart and this need to be full, so this can't lose an item earlier. Which means we have a thing right here, which pushes over, and then we just push this against like anything really. There we go. And this hopper is full. This minecart is full. Now you know why there are 3 double chests of unstackable items. And this has just 1, just to make sure. This has 2, because as I explained, 1 needs to go and 1 needs to stay. 1 needs to be there at all times for this. And empty, empty, empty 1, full, and then just to connect this hopper back with the other thing, we're just temporarily going to break, just don't worry about the burnout, going to break this block with the repeater on it and place a hopper facing into the thing, replace the repeater, and now we just need a minecart in here, which is rather easy because we can just, you know, minecart it in. I want to make sure that it's like not gonna touch that one, so that goes, and then we replace this and re-put our 2 items in it. And we just realized that the hopper isn't full yet, so this hopper obviously also is full. And this minecart also is full. So that this hopper can safely keep 2 items at all times and doesn't lose any of them. So, once again, 1, 2, full, the hopper is full, this dropper is full, 1, empty, 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 full, full. Questions why we have so many items? No good. And don't forget to replace this piston. And we are currently, why is there an item in there? Full, full, 1, 2, empty, 1, full, full, and that one has to be full. Weird, I guess. Post that, and then we're done. For this opus extender, the very top extension is done by the redstone block in there. The bottom extension is controlled just by this need 1 tick in the and the middle is done by, as I showed this in this position, firing the thing. So our middle double piston extender is the easiest in the bottom and the hardest in the top, because this is conveniently dealt with by everything around it, and the top has to like modify everything around it so that it actually everything takes care of it at once, which is like fucking attention seeking, but whatever. Fire this again just to reset this, and yeah, let me just block this off because this will be fucking annoying. Like that. And then for this double piston extender, we have an invert right here because we're inverted. So we're having an invert right here. Place a piston under it for later, just while you're here. Otherwise, you need to break it and come back later. We have an invert with an item which then goes back into here, which then goes back into here, and then we have our first target. Now to the target people, there is a way around this. You have a like completely different light gray circuit here, but if anyone cares enough to actually build it and wants it targetless, either figure it out yourself or message me. I will then show you how it's done, but I won't be including it right here now because I just don't want to show off 3 different versions at once. And then this torch is also what I mentioned earlier, which powers orange, which then gets briefly opened up, and yeah. So that's that double. And then for the singles, we have 5 of them right here. These are taken care of, not like this, or are they? No, they're not. Knew it. So there's a dust for these 3, and then there's just a repeater for each of those. And that's the bottom singles, and that's pretty much the whole bottom done. So if we were to fire this right now, you will see that it sort of works. I mean, the closing will work, but like, there you go, the closing works, for the bottom at least. And yeah, the opening, once again, the opening of the triple will fail, but the doubles work because yeah. So the slider failed because this pushed upwards, and I broke because I broke the burnout. That's fucking stupid. There you go. And there's glass part missing. And then the thing failed because of the ABBA, which I meant earlier. This won't work for a while. So that's the bottom done. So let's move on to the sides, because the sides and the top is where the real money is at. We need to 0 tick these in. Okay, so for the sides, or rather, we're first going to build a light gray bottom, which is the flush corners for this. So we pull down this glass and then insert this piston in, like so, and then we extend that, and then we just retract the whole thing, cover this back up. That's how the flush corners work. We have 4 of them, and all 4 work differently. Or rather, the top 2 work the same, but these 2 work differently, but whatever. So we need this to power, we need this torch right here to power the thing when it's in an extended state, right? But we can't have this also power this. I mean, we can, but not right now, and you know. So we're powering this, but we want this wall to be closed off, right? So we immediately abuse 1.16 features to keep it on again. And then when this ever turns off, like so, we have a torch, which then powers the back of this piston after a tick. So when this turns off, we extend the thing, and then we later fire this, and then, you know, stuff happens, and then we retract all of this. That was to be expected, because the dust is pointing into the thing. And yeah, there we go. So way around that is we need to hold this dust in particular on with a signal strength of 1. So the torch is turned off, but this isn't on to power this piston again. So we're just gonna run that through here and place a thing right here, a T flip-flop right there, which if we place a minecart here, and replace that, place the thing, which will then keep that signal strength of 1 on for a while longer, so the torch is off, but this won't turn on. And then from this, we are also going to grab our signal to do the rest of the double right here, which we need to run into that block, and then just an ABBA that way. So this will do the closing now if we add this torch and this one tick for this wall block. This will do the closing now because the opening actually relies on dark gray, which is like coming later. So yeah, I'm not going to show this now. I mean, I guess I could put like we also need an ABBA gate in here for later. This is more for the top and everything else, but yeah, just place it. So if we unpower this, you can see that we get the closing, and then when we power it, we get nothing because we need the refire from this to reflip the T flip-flop. So the refire comes through, and we get this. And this would have grabbed if the sides were in place, which they aren't. So that's the first of these, and the second of these has to do with a different input, because this is already getting 2 pulses, right? While this is hard connected to this dust. This dust actually doesn't turn off twice, so this is hard powered from this permanently, and then just this G flip-flop does the thing. So what happens to this torch, right? Oh my fucking god. What happens to this torch? This torch turns on the closing, and then in the opening, it does off, on, off. So we get 2 pulses, one on the opening, one on the closing, and that just screams T flip-flop, right? So we're just gonna T flip-flop. And break this right now, replace it, and drop a minecart in. Oh, there we go. So this screams T flip-flop, and we are reading it out from here with an item at the bottom. Place a block on top. So the torch will always fire the top first, and then this one. And that's T flip-flop. So then we negate this from, or we subtract 1 from 1, which is basically an invert, into this block. And from here we do this. It's almost the exact same thing, but a lot easier, and this circuit would actually be a lot better over there, but it can't be fit over there because we have the burnout to worry about, so we can't actually do that. So, just like last time, we have 2 dusts running into this, which also powers this, but we keep this one right on for with a single strength of 1, so that it for a bit longer, so it doesn't rising edge this thing in there, block up there, and I mean this isn't necessary, but it's necessary for this one, so yeah. And then once again we have our torch right here, dust, cut it off, 1 tick, and these, as well as this. And that's it for this side. So if we do the extension, retraction would work if the other thing was in place. And yeah, now we need to think for a moment. This gets this updates itself when the purple happens, and also when this T flip-flops, but whatever. And this glass, how do we get this glass to re-extend? Because we can't access the piston from here, can't access the piston from here. I mean, we could technically run something into this dropper, but we'd rather not run something into our T flip-flop again, you know? I guess we could redirect this or something, but the easiest solution is actually to do it from here, even though there's no way to do it from here, because if we just have a dust right there and turn this dust on, oh my god, the dust, which powers absolutely nothing, sends an update to that piston and puts on its terminal. So when this turns, remember there are 2 inverts in here, right? There's this torch, there's that invert, there's this invert, and then there's this invert. So 3 inverts, 2 of them negate each other, 1 invert. So when this T flip-flop switches, this doesn't do shit because the T flip-flop is already done. So the switching of this is what updates, which turns this on briefly, which updates the piston and does absolutely nothing to the rest. So that's that. And if we don't fire it now, we will see that the closing works and the opening still doesn't work because the opening relies on the sides, which we're about to build now, because we've done everything in the bottom. Look at it. The bottom is pretty filled up to the floor level, so there we go. So the sides are a problem, because we have this, we have this redstone block, right, which I explained earlier, and we have this wall block, and we need this deluxe crafting table like block swapper to pull it down, insert the redstone block and extend, and then do the other thing, and then reflush the hole. So how do we reflush the hole? Well, first thing I would do, or which I did, is to place to build an ABBA gate, right? An ABBA gate for this extension and retraction, so I don't need to worry about the closing and opening of the hole anymore. Because that is this is the one circuit, and the other circuit is about piston extender. So this is exactly what I did. And this is where the bullshit begins. Or rather, this is where the most bullshit clip you'll probably ever see happens. So what we have is a pressure plate right here. Makes sense, right? And then when we remove this item from the pressure plate, which is being powered from this, as you saw earlier, and then there's a piston and a soul sand there. So there's a minecart in this, which is clipped in a really shitty way. So this subtracts, which retracts, which takes the item off the plate, which takes the card off the plate, and the plate is actually on top of a hopper. So we're on top of a hopper already, which already works with internal hitboxes everywhere. So then the hopper releases an item, which ends up in this, which pulses this again, and then we're done. Because on the closing, we have this extending both of them, and then that just... And then that just... And then this just extending the thing, you know? And then again, when we retract everything, this retracts, and then this pulses, and that's the ABBA gate. So what's the problem? Well, hoppers have internal hitboxes, which means that pretty much if we ever push a minecart up, over this like bottom pixel of the hopper, the minecart will never ever go back down again. And coincident, on the other hand, if the minecart is too low, we can't even push it up to begin with because it would get stuck under the top pixel of the hopper. So that's the first issue. And then the next issue is the fact that we also need to be in far enough for the plate to actually give a fuck, you know? If we just have it in floaty or like up against the chest, we won't actually be able to trigger the fucking plate. So we need a minecart which is at least 3 pixels deep into this, and at a height where it's not bouncing against the ceiling of the hopper and not ever going to sit on the floor of any hopper in hitbox, you know? Which means that the minecart needs to be right in the middle, you know? Like the hopper, it's basically the hopper needs to be inside of the minecart and not the minecart needing to be inside the hopper. So how do we do that? Well, to make matters worse, there is a dropper right below it, which is where it gets its item from. Makes sense, right? So how do we like do any of this? Because we need a minecart to sit at a specific height, but there's just like, okay, I'm going to show you, because this is like, I know, my God. Okay, so we're going to need the old clip, but we need to do preparations. Remember this minecart right here? And remember how I said it has to be inside of the comparator, but not inside the hopper? Well, same thing over here. We have a minecart inside of this repeater. So we have a minecart inside of this repeater. And this is actually just any minecart, doesn't matter. And then we place a flower pot. And then push it up. And now it's inside the repeater and not inside the block. There we go. And now we can replace the burnout, which would be annoying as fuck anyways, so yeah. So we're just gonna drop in a bunch of minecarts right now. 6 of them to be exact. We need a stack of 6 minecarts to get us to where we need to be. Just drop 1 more in. And from here we need to improvise, or like we need to do something spacey, because now we can place blocks. This is where the dropper goes, right? And then this is where our hopper goes. So we need a we need a block right there. So just go ahead and place 1. And then we need a normal rail here, and then we need 3 powered rails up. If you remember how the old clip works from like 2 years ago before we found the diagonal rail full clip, it's yeah. This is the only way I know of how to do this. So this is empty conveniently, and yeah, so we need 5 more rails down. So 1, 2, yeah. So make sure this is permanently powered. And that actually keeps everything on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we also need to break this block because otherwise that won't work. And that's all like that's the ramp we need. And then we're going to place a minecart right there as the like stopper, and we're going to place our anvil right here. Now you want to walk against this anvil. And that pushes this car to the perfect location. And now we're going to take our chest card and just run it up there. And now we're going to take our chest card and just run it up there. Now we're going to take our chest card and... This card is fucking with it. So we're going to take a chest card and just run it up there. And we're gonna let that just chill on a flower pot for the next 20 minutes. And if you press F3 and B, you will see that it's right what I said we need. We have it above the hopper and enough deep into the hopper to power this plate, and it will be able to be pushed up, and it will be able to push down or fall down because its ceiling is not stuck under a hopper hitbox, and its floor is also not sitting on top of a hopper hitbox if we are careful enough. Break this, break that, break that, break that, and pretty much break everything which we just placed. And don't forget to replace. So this had a dust, and then there was a 4-tick right here. There's a dust right here. What was here? There was a block with a repeater right here. There was a hopper facing into that, a hopper facing sideways, a door facing upwards, with nothing in it. This was removed. This wasn't a torch, and this should hopefully be everything. So now we can just like replace another cart into here, and be careful, if you ever place a rail under this flower pot, the cart will clip down on, will be sucked down onto it, and you will hate yourself. I may or may not have done that in the past. Yeah, so another one. And now we need to start fucking with our dropper, because there is a dropper under this, and we need another 2 minecarts inside of this dropper, so that the one is like looking out of the top. And why is it inside the dropper? Because we can't have it be right here, because this is getting pushed up and down, and we can't have it right there because there's a hopper here, and it's there are reasons. Trust me, this has to be done. While we're at it, by the way, you want to make the cart floaty to the inside of the door. There you go. Just before we forget that, I have forgotten it when practicing for the tutorial. Yeah, so what the fuck do we do here, Q? Well, we're gonna do the corner clip. So we need to break this again. We need to break this again. And the reason for that is we need a corner rail right here. So rail, that'll corner, and then we can break that and replace our minecarts, which we broke from inside of there. Or we just like don't do it and we just drop them in from here. So place 2 blocks like this and grab your dummy cart, put it in, and as you can see, the corner teleports it right into both of these. We can just like give it a push. Give it a little bit more push. Is there a block on the back of this? Yes, there is. So it can't fall off the back, and then we push it a bit more, and it falls right into place. And then we just do that again. Bit more. And now we have our pillow back. And now we need 2 more of these. So push one in, just like slightly, I guess. There we go. And the issue is, oh, we need to break that block, because it needs to stick out the back, because we can't break this rail yet. So we need to push it over. It will be off the rail, and now we try to push it backwards a bit more. There we go. So it sticks out the back right here. So now we can actually like do stuff with it over here. So place a thing right here, which will fuck with the burnout again. Grab your soul sand, push it up with the soul sand. It's now stuck under the like bottom hopper layer thing. And now we can push it over fully into the soul sand. Except we can't, because we need it inside the dropper, right? So what we want to do is push a cobblestone wall into it. Like so. The reason for that is now its hitbox is outside of the like lower hopper chunk thing, blob. which means we can subtract the piston and re-extend it. And now it's higher up. It's now stuck under the like top hopper part thing and sitting on top of the tool stand. So this is high enough so that, as you can see, we can just sneak in another fucking minecart under it. So if we do this to block it, now we like nudge this card in. Careful, don't touch that, don't touch that. I mean, you can't touch that from this angle, but we don't want to touch that. So we just push this in. Now we can break all of this. And now we need to maneuver this card around the thing once and onto this side. Or not even, like we can yeah, no, don't. We can just drop it on top of this card and then just push it in. And then push it in from over here. There you go. I really don't like the way that's rotated, but whatever, it will have to do. The rotation doesn't actually matter. It just looks ugly as shit. So now we can break this. And that. And you see that the pressure plate has like stopped being powered. And the minecart can still, hopefully, be pushed up. And because I forgot to place the bumper on the ceiling, it actually like it won't fall down ever. And because I'm not doing that again, data and get entity that one / data merge entity that one, and we're modifying its position to be 22.3569, nice. 45, 54, 73, 89, 58 decimal. 101.5 decimal. And 26 point. Oh, this is actually the floaty direction. 489999999. That'll do. Decimal. Okay. So if we place a sideways hopper on top of this, you will see we can power the plate, and we can unpower the plate. And all of that with a fucking dropper below. And like, oh my god, this is so painful. Yeah, now we can replace the block we broke in there. The dust we broke in there. Right there. Redo this, replace the burnout, which is annoying, and then replace the piston again, and then we turn this off. And this hopper doesn't actually do shit. It's only here for its hitbox. And yeah, oh my god, this is so ugly. Yeah. So now this is still floaty, yes. This is a lime block. And we have another hopper right there. And now we need another floaty minecart to get the item from this to there. So we're just gonna place a pillow cart in the wall, like so. Push the wall in so it's definitely invisible from inside the doorway and we don't get Z fighting or anything like that. This actually needs to not be here for now. And then we're going to just drop in a floaty cart. Like so. But there's a problem. It's because there's this piston, right, with the redstone block, and when that extends, it would unfloat the cart. So we need a second cart, which keeps it floaty, similar to how this one prevents that one from being pushed. So grab another one, run it all the way over there, and just ram it into the cart. And now we can drop out. Oh my god, the rotation of that actually matters. I'm going to jump out of a window. Okay, Cube here from the future, from the editing thing. So, the rotation doesn't actually matter, and I wasted the next 10 minutes of my life for no reason. So, if your card is rotated in a crappy way like this, or just in general, don't push this, like, the last furnace card up against the full block. Just run it against the same fence, like, depth as the chest card and it'll be fine. Sorry for that break. So we should be able to push this. If we drop this back down, right, we should be able to push this without this ever losing its floatiness, and if we place these two wall blocks in particular, because this card is actually on top of the comparator, this piston will try to push it upwards into this block and it will fail. Because it's actually... yeah, so it's actually not pushed over a bit, so... now this won't be able to push up, and this won't be able to push over, or pull back, and because this one is also stuck, it's unaffected by these pistons. Okay. Everything is fine, that only took 20 minutes. There we go. So if we place on... if we... oh my god, it's floating to the wrong side. Okay, hold on. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. I'm not going crazy. So this needs to be floated to the other side. Yeah. So that way, please. That way, please, thanks. And then we're going to replace this. Hey Cube, what's up, brain? Why don't you just do the do the 7x7 tutorial right now. Really, Brain, are you sure? It's 4 AM in the morning. This doesn't sound like a good idea. No, trust me, bro. It'll be good. Source, trust me, bro. My uncle works at Microsoft. It'll be fun. So, if we place that there, and we push this up, get the full extension, and if we have an item in there, and drop this, and if we drop this, I mean, I guess we could just place these for now, which is why that need to be floated. Extension. Why is the charge not working? Oh my fucking god, why is it not working? Where's the item? It's in there. Oh, because I undid the... Because my TP did the undid the floatiness. No. Oh my god. Okay. Everything is fine. I am fine. Did I? Okay, no, I didn't. Oh my fucking god! Okay, so if we push this up, we get the closing. If we pull it down, we get the ABBA. Then we push it up, and then we pull it down. We get the ABBA. Then we push it up, and we pull it down. We get the fucking ABBA, which isn't an ABBA. It's more a refire. But oh my god! Ah! And that's how the most bullshit clip I've ever done, and I think Arma has ever done, and I think any one of you will ever do, is performed to clip this bitch into this hopper, or rather clip the hopper inside the card, at a floaty to the left, at a depth for the pressure plate, at a height where it has to sit on top of another card, on 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 another card, inside of a repeater, on top of a block, inside of a dropper. Oh my god. Too much oxygen. And now, we're not doing that again on the other side because I need a break. So we're just going to do the rest. So, on this side. So, now that is done, the whole side of this has its singular input on this torch. And this gray block, which can be any block. I'm just using glass to indicate it can be any block, right? And we have our trusty armor stand. And that armor stand gets pushed up into another pressure plate. Now, you might be wondering, there must have been an entity-less way to do this, and there was. But there is an issue, right? So, you know how pressure plates turn on when they are powered and turn off whenever they feel like it? It's not when they feel like it, it's on a 5-tick base cycle after when they get powered, but you know. So, both sides have one pressure plate, And both of those pressure plates are the entire input to the top. And I cannot control when this plate turns off, but I can control it will be consistent between the two. So if this turns off, a fixed amount of delay later, this one will turn off as well. And that's how I control the top, because if the top has only one plate, the other side might be faster or slower to turn off than this side might be faster or slower to turn off, and this one isn't. So that would fuck up any timing-based things, and since the top is not this side does that, this side does that, so literally this side does all of it and then sends a signal to this side, but this side also does its own thing before this sends its signal over the you would see that. So that's why both sides have a pressure plate. And now you might be thinking, why don't you just use no pressure plate on both sides? Well, the issue is the top uses pressure plates right there, and like, yeah, those are it. And is not entirely certain when those turn off. So if I were to have these guys, but those don't really matter as nearly as much. So basically, because there are pressure plates in the top, which could turn off at a random point in time, I sync all of those up to this pressure and that pressure plate. All of that randomness in the top is like on a fixed delay after this plate, because I can't. I need to control when the top turns off, but I can't. So I link it up to this plate, and I can't control when this turns off, but it doesn't matter when this turns off. And that's why there are two plates which serve as the entire single point of axis. Yeah, so what do we have here? We have a repeater and a comparator. This can be a repeater if you use a target, but trust me, for later you will want a slab in this minecart. So there's a dust right here, and this dust can't power the wall, so I need to redirect it with this comparator. So that's why that's there. Yeah, so that powers the wall, and that's for these two double piston extenders, obviously. And then we also have all of the singles, so a single there, and then more singles, and then of course we have another double on top of this, as well as to the left of this, and then we have our triples, which go here and here. And this is all the side does. Looks kind of janky, but it has a reason. This double piston extender is in the top, because there is just no way to power it. It would be here, so we'd either need to power like this block or this block, and we can't, for reasons you will see later. This is just easily powered from there. So yeah, we have a 4-tick running out of that, which is actually sitting on a node block, and that node block is what this plate in the node block actually caused the ABBA gate for the bottom, because remember that 1-tick actually doesn't do shit. It's just there for like as a failsafe. I'm not even sure if it's necessary. Just place it. Come on, let's roll repeater. Yeah, that's how that happens. And then this goes into a dust right here, dust right there, block right there. We need an obsidian here for later, and for later I mean for now, because this piston right here has a redstone block. And for any weird scenario where this is powered, there are cases where this is powered. This is a block, this is a block, this is a block, this is a block. So we'll just push out here. So we need an obsidian here. Yeah, and then this 4-tick is also conveniently the ABBA to the double piston extenders, because from the plate it's 2 ticks to the wall and 4 ticks to the back piston. So this is basically our like classic CNB Minecraft 2, 4, and 0 double piston extender. So 0 in this case is 2, 2 in this case is 4, and 4 in this case is 6. So 6 is this, which is this, which then bud powers the final thing of the double. You know how doubles work, hopefully. If you don't know how doubles work, this tutorial is like way too high for you. And how did you not notice that in like 1 hour and 20 minutes? Yeah. So that's the this one, and we can just like see that in action, right? We push that up, we see those two doubles work, and then we pull it down, and the doubles retract, and then obviously this breaks, and then this also pushes, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, and then this signal goes up and into this 3-tick and place a note block for updating this 060 right there. And that does the other ones. So if we fire this again, right, pushed up, you see all the doubles extend, and when we do the retraction, the bottom doubles work fine, and the top doubles, the way, if you look at this, you will know where this is going. This just needs a refire. And there you go, and then the top doubles retract. And don't worry about the triples will obviously be doing their shit while all of this is happening. The triples are actually what's causing the refire, so yeah, that's that. And then those are the doubles, and now we can, this by the way for the single, and that single, although that single is part of the 2-tick, but now it's in sync with the other singles and whatever, just, you know. So now it's time for the actual triple snake extender. Don't touch that. Remember, this is a double snake extender actually, not just the single thing. So onto the actual triple. Remember, we are currently in this state with this block being pulled down, which is nice. And when we extend this, we want, well, this extends and this extends. So the triples are already extended. They're just waiting for the redstone block, really. And we just need to fire the redstone block. So we're firing the redstone block double. So first things first, we need to fire this, right? Through a note block. A reason for that later. So we have a dropper right here and a dropper right there. This one does a little circle. And this one just goes in directly. This one has a green wool, and this is full with unstackable items. The reason for that will be apparent when we build yellow. And replace this 3-tick. Could be a 2-tick, but like for gray it could be a 2-tick, but for yellow it needs to be a 3-tick because it has to be. Trust me, bro. Yeah, so when all of this fires, we extend the redstone block back in front of the double piston extender after the triple is extended, so that we don't accidentally like block the triple from extending, you know. And then after that, we fire the double from back here. So we need to butt this through there. And now you might be asking, well, what's the point of this anyways? This has to do with the retraction. I will point that out later. So we do this, and then we fire this with a 2-tick. And then how do we fire the front one? Well, we fire the front one from the conveniently placed lime wool block below. Like that. So dropper right there, yes. Hopper right there, yes. And now you see the reason why two of those items had to be color-coded correctly. So this dropper is actually full. And then this hopper has, we are currently open. So in the open state, this hopper has 2 items and full. And then we need a different colored item on top, so it doesn't get sucked down ever. And we need 2 in here because when this closes, 1 leaves, similar to how this needs 2 items. And yeah, this won't ever suck down. And, well, this would give a pulse if we give it a note block to update the dropper, obviously. And we want to hold the item, so what better way to do is then just lock the hopper from the plate, doesn't really matter. Also gives us a convenient ABBA gate on the double piston extender, right? So the back is held on for way longer than the front. So we get the retraction nicely. So if we were to fire this now, you will see that the full triple extension actually works. Let me just for convenience sake do the world edit. Well, I guess look at it from here. Set 152. There you go. Triple extension works and looks nicely from here. And then when we do the set 0, you see we get the first, like, we got the ABBA on the double piston extender, and we got the first retraction on the triples. And then obviously we need to refire it. So if we refire this now, we end here, and that's almost done basically. So if you know how triples work, or how this triple works, you saw that the back piston got grabbed, and then the thing down here extended again. So the front piston got unpowered, and then we had a tiny time window to grab them, but we didn't because yellow isn't here. That's what yellow does. And yeah, so that's why this dust needs to be here, because we need to power yellow from, we need to power the piston from here, right? So we can't power the wall, and that's why the target haters will know how to. I don't need to explain the target haters what's happening here, right? And then we just pull it out again. So with this dust right there, and if we do that, all of that again, yep, and then if we refire this, shit camera angle, also shit camera angle. Yeah, no, this isn't helping. Whatever, you will be able to see it. Okay, you didn't see it, but you see the piston down here grabbed, and now we're ready, because as soon as we retract the redstone block, like as soon as we retract the redstone block back to here, those will fire anyways, and then we'll grab it out, and then we're done. So, yeah, that's it for the bottom. The bottom really just needs this one dust powering that one block, because there is no other way to reach that piston, right? We can't power it from the left. We can't power it from. We are powering it from below. We can't power it from the right. We can't power it from above. These are this hopper right here is our convenient whatever immovable block. You know, stuff happens. For the other side, for this side actually, for the other whatever. This is still necessary because yellow isn't built yet. So how do we pulse this block on the top? We just power it from here, right? And how do we do the middle for the double piston extender? From here. So there's no other way to reach this besides the plate. We're not doing the plate again. So we're powering it from here. And you know, so this comes from here with a single strength of 3 from a hopper timer right here, which gets powered from just this. And then there's a soul sand and a boat which powers this plate. Don't worry, like the boat needs to be replaced later because there will be stuff, but for now we can just place da boat and push that against a cobblestone wall. So da boat actually is far enough over to. That is not touching the thing. There you go. So when this pushes up, we unlock the plate, lock this hopper, and then when it pushes down, we lock the hopper again, and the hopper timer functions properly. So in here are 2 items and a shovel. So that then goes single strength 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3 down to there to 1. Which is why this had to be it doesn't matter, you know, compare 1 to 1 doesn't give a shit. And this side has to be a bunch of unstackable items for yellow. Because this is like another ABBA gate. So when yellow comes in right here and holds this dust on for like another 3 ticks to do the pulse, which this does right here, but up here. We're also holding all of these items. So there is a gap in the dropper, but this hopper fills the gap, but this hopper is currently locked and cannot fill the gap. And yeah, this hopper is also locked by the dust, by the way. So there's a gap in the hopper, and then this gets released and that fills, but this can't because it's still held on. For another, like, what, 2 items, 8 ticks, you know, stuff. And whatever time it takes for the boat to fall, and what it holds it on for a while. And that also holds the item in here. So when that dust turns off, this piston turns off, as well as the item can finally leave, and that means this item can finally leave, and that means this comparator can finally turn off, and that means this piston can finally turn off, and that's why, and that's how we pull back the redstone block sideways. And yeah, that does the final retraction because we conveniently pulled that in there, and that's the entire triple done. When we do the refire, and for the refire we need the light gray on the top, so get ready to build light gray because we have the refire, which we need right here, right? Comes from this dropper and this block being pushed in front of it. So that's what we're gonna do now, right? So this is currently a nothing. But when it's timed properly, this will be a falling edge. Because we have this and this and, yeah, this 3 tick. And if we just demonstrate this, I guess, update, push that there. And then you see that gives us a short pull. It's not actually a 1 tick, but it doesn't need to be a 1 tick. And there we go. So how does this like ever work? We have a 4 tick running into this, and then a dust on the ceiling, and then a piston over redstone block, which conveniently manages our wall closer. And then this is just a slab staircase, like so. As well as a 1 tick right here for, I mean, okay, so this is what we need for the turbo sneak extender, but while we're here, we might as well just finish light gray red for the wall closer, for the wall flusher corner thingy. So we have the thing right there, and yeah. So we have a problem right here, right? So what happens first is this piston extends, this wall opens, we power the floor or the ceiling for the thing. Then after 4 ticks, this dust powers again, so it closes again. So we have around a like 5 tick window, because this needs to extend first, where we need to fire the back piston. And the way we do that is to just power it from this, right? So after 1 tick, we push the block in. Doesn't matter because this is already on red. Also, this is yellow. This is yellow. Because I built it first. So we push this in. This piston extends. This turns on. This can't extend anymore because there's already block, you know, already extended piston from down here. And then the double piston extender happens. And for the double piston extender, we also need a bunch of node blocks in here. This needs to be a node block, and this one technically doesn't, but it always has been a node block, so I'm placing one. You don't have to place it because this piston is, the piston retracting is already been updating this piston, so this node block does absolutely fucking nothing, but I'm still going to place it. And for the middle pulse of the double piston extender, we once again have to butt it from an awkward angle because there's no other way to get to it. Which makes this the 3rd time we're butting something from an awkward angle because there's no way to get to it, and it won't be the last. So we're just hard pouring this from a negated comparator, which just gets held on by the pressure plate. So, how do we do this? We can't just push a cauldron or comparator or a composter in, because we need a We need a... This push wouldn't be able to push upwards because it would get stuck inside of the comparator of the cauldron or composter. And we can't have a detector rail with a minecart on top because there's dust underneath. So, yeah, what are we doing? And this is also a single strength of 1, unless we want to place around 15 boats inside of each other and use a golden plate. So, that's also not an option. So, we're going to place a furnace, and we need the boat to be inside of the furnace. So, we're going to place a boat which is going to be inside of the furnace. Does anyone have, like, any problems with that? Because now we're clipping a boat into an immovable container. So not only do we clip like 3 minecarts, you know, we're clipping a fucking boat inside of an immovable container. And there is like a farmland trick Arma knows where you can clip anything into anything by farmland just forcing things upwards when turning back. I couldn't get it to work because the entity has to stick outside of the... according to Arma, it has to stick outside of the farmland, and I couldn't get it to work with the boat. I'm pretty sure there is a way to make it work with the boat, I'm just too bad at it. So I'm just going to use a boat cart to clip the boat cart in, and then break the cart so we only have a boat. You know? Gotta make my own solutions. Now we need to get this back on the salt sands, so we want to push this over into a something. I mean, I guess we could just push it there. And then we push it over this way. Not too far though, make sure it's not too far. We want to push a cobblestone wall into there. And that should be enough to do what we need to do. Like so. And if we place a block on top to prevent this from getting pushed out of the furnace, because you see that unpowers and then it powers again. And that will, if we put a gray item in this, do the middle pulse of the dropsy center. And that is how this entire side works. I hope that made any sense, that I didn't rush through anything too quickly. So if we fire this right now, with this dust right there, fingers crossed, the wall opens, the slider works, the flush corner works, the side works, and yeah. And if we open this now, we should have the bottom working, because we have the we have magenta blocked by orange, which will trigger purple, and the orange thing is blocked by lime through this comparator red, which is held on by dark gray, which will also be refired by yellow, which is also which is wired through light gray. Okay, good. So, please don't break and embarrass me. Thank you. There you go. And after an hour and like 20 minutes later, the bottom triple finally works after we've built an entire other quarter of the door. So, like, yeah. And this fails because we haven't built this side yet. And this isn't closed up because the top will just update it whenever it feels like it. Don't worry about that. That will literally fix itself. It won't fix itself. It will need one node block on top, but then it will fix itself. Yeah. So let's copy paste this all to this side and not go insane while doing so. Sounds like a plan, I think. I hope. So we have this, and then we have this, and this, and that's for our dropper right here. For our hopper facing inwards, like this. And that means we need to get our shit together. So, break the dropper, place a random ass block under it, break this, break that, break that, lock this, break that, and break that. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 powered rails, a normal rail, and then 3 more powered rails for the old full reverse clip. I don't know why Armor named it that, but it's named that, so... I mean, I get reverse and I get full clip, but like... Really, Armor? You couldn't like think of a better name for this? Just kidding, I love you. In a non-romantic way. Little thing, little block, and watch it go. And then we can just replace everything unless we need to do this, but I am not going to make a mistake. Famous last words. Replace the thing. That was nothing. Replace the thing. Replace the thing. This was nothing. This can go. Get your flower pot. There. There we go. And that is in place. Yep. Once again, you can see how it's like, how the hopper, basically the hopper's inside the minecart, not the other way around. And make it floaty to the outside. With a chest. Okay, good. That was about to be a disaster when the piston would have broken the fucking flower pot. I would have just... yeah. About that. Now we replace the dropper. And now we grab our blocks. Ah, okay, it's blocked anyways. It can't push even. And bam. Break that. Replace the trigger hook. And now we are just gonna drop a bunch of like minecarts in, making sure that the top 2 are rotated correctly. That didn't touch you, I think. Nah, I didn't touch you. How many more? 1 more. Oh, that was fast. And now we need to do the thing with the storing it and being annoying. Bit more. Yeah, that should work. Soul sand. Right there. Push it up. Yep. Push it over with a... Don't you dare. Don't unpower this piston or it will pull out the card. Repower this. Last minecart. You better rotate. Thank you. Drop this. Push it in. I hope you rotate, like, properly. Are you still floaty? Wait, where did you go? Oh, you get in there. You are still floaty. One in there, one in there. Fill that up for later. This side actually has the one cobweb, and the reason for that is we just need even more delay. Nope, nope. Fuck it. Yeah, we need even more delay out of this for the reason of this thing. So this dust updates this piston facing upwards, and that will be this butted from this redstone block, and that will push up the wall, and we can now remove this safely because the triple works. So on that side, during the closing, this is the first thing that happens, right? So the first thing that happens is the wall opens up. The wall opens up, and then there's an air block right here. And then this thing gets an update, and it's like, oh my god, there's a redstone block 2 blocks above me, and an air block, it's like, what, 5 blocks or whatever above me. I can put, and then it pushes and then it breaks. So that's why this needs to like be held on for so long. And yeah, the timing doesn't matter. This cobweb will always drop it, and the plate will always like have enough time to unpower even at max setting, because the signal needs to travel through this subtract and then through all of this, and then up, and then, you know, through that 4 tick even before stuff happens. So this doesn't even matter at all. Like, it doesn't matter in the thing. And this also conveniently prevents the card from ever being pushed up too high. So yeah, that's that. I better hope you rotate. Maybe if I reload the world, it'll like snap back. What's your rotation value? Your rotation is minus 82 degrees. Oh my god, it actually has the fucking like rotation which we are currently seeing. Oh my god. I'm not doing this again. I will find a fix for this. I will find a fix for it right now. Place this. There's dust in there, which we can place, I guess, but don't need to right now. This thing, these two, and this guy. So we do still have our pillow card right here. Like so, and then we push in the wall to prevent Z fighting from happening. And then we have our minecart up here with a fence. And it's floaty towards the inside, and there's probably a better way to do this, but I do not care. And then there's also I guess we run it against the same fence. This, and that, and then we drop it. What? What? Why did the plate fire? Oh, there was an item in there, and then the minecart got the item, and then the hopper got the minecart got the item, and then there's two items in here now. Yes, exactly. Okay, so because this card is so far away from whatever the fuck that is, so my entire pain here was actually, and me redoing it was actually unnecessary, because it's so far from the stack anyways that shit. Yeah, so now we just zero tick in the wall. And we should be good for this. If we test this real quickly, that's the closing. That's the opening, which takes ages because of the cobweb. Closing, opening, and there we go. So now we can just continue with the rest of the thing, which is normal, and then a sticky, and then a normal, which is the thing which we have over here with the with the Fortic and the comparator, which can be repeated if you're going for targetless and the thing, and and the slab and the wall block and the doubles right here, and then the singles right here, and then the next double right here, and then the triples on this, and this, and yeah. If you remember, we have a thing right. Nope, we have a thing right here. We have our obsidian right there, and our 2-tick for the doubles, right? Here, this is the semi Minecraft 0240, and it's actually 462 here in this case. Whatever. Run that into there. Run that up here. This block is yellow. Nope, and then we run it into that one, although all of this is like this, and this goes into directly, and does 3-tick, and then we do lime, because lime runs like out of these. This has a lime block, and this is full, so that, and do it again, and do it again. There we go. And I placed the circle the wrong way around. So that one, and this is full, and this is full, and there we go. This goes on a slab. So this goes up and down, over the block, over the tripwire, into the note block, which does like serving double duty. Goes down into the different colored item dropper. There we go. And lock that thing from the plate. And put a 2-tick there. And put the 3-tick back. And yeah, then we do the hopper timer, which just goes up into a soul suck. So get another slab, get a thing, up, and then down like this into 3. Yellow goes over this 3-tick, as well as down here you just place a thing and place a target, or you don't if you do the target list, and place a small block, and yeah, then we do the boat, except we're not doing the boat because okay, we're doing the boat now. Furnace, light gray item inside for later. And then we clip the boat cart. I said we clip the boat cart. And then we push that over. And then push a cobblestone wall in. And then we replace the thing. And then we place a block on top for later. This will be blue and the top circuits later, but whatever. 2 items and an unstackable. And yeah, now they're yellow refire and light gray. So this and this and this and a slab tower. Like so. We have this just running into this, going into block, going into a fortic, going into dust, and then the useful node block, the useless node block, the 3-tick, and the yellow. And then the yellow piston facing downwards to put a block in front of this comparator, which is reading this unstackable item inside of the dropper, which also needs this to do the thing. So that should be all of this side done now. If we fire this and it breaks, you may laugh at me, and I will delete your comment because I have the power to do that. I forgot to place in the redstone block. That is hilarious. And you aren't powered because didn't place the node block. And now it works. Yeah, you didn't because the redstone block wasn't there. And then the opening also works. Except it doesn't. I forgot this node block. But now it does, so ignoring that. There's the closing. Everything looks nicely. Why the fuck are... I forgot this 1-tick, that's why. And then the opening. Works nicely, and then the... Okay, why is the bottom broken now? I won't be worried about the bottom right now. Because... So you see this is still a problem. So, to prevent that, we actually push the redstone block over to there. With an orange 3-tick right there. And a... Okay, hold on. Break this block, I guess, and then place it right there, and then replace this block, I guess, and then get the fuck out. And then we can finally also break this obsidian and assume that's what caused the issue, and yeah, I mean, you know, that's how you do things, and these are updated by the top whenever they feel like it, and closing works nicely, and see there, the bottom works now. So yeah, just around 2 hours later, we have 3/4 done. And I went into less detail on the bottom because, I mean, this is almost exactly like the funnel, you know. So, yeah, here we are. On to the top, which is, like, oh my fucking... So, you know how I raged about the fucking, like, how I rightfully so raged about the fucking dropper hopper minecart clip stack pillow bullshit. That's not even the worst part about the door. The worst part of this door is this triple piston extender. I mean downwards, but you know. Worst part of the... Oh, wait. Sorry, took the wrong blame. This triple piston extender is the worst part of this fucking door. But I'm getting too ahead of myself. So, what's the top layout like? The top layout is a single, right? And then because we don't have doubles right here, because so if you look at this, right, where would we power the double from? We can't power it from here. We could power it from here, but we're not powering it from here. And that's pretty much it, because we can't power it from above, because there's this thing. And I mean, this was a solid block then maybe, but like no, we're not doing this. So there's no double right here, so that means there's a double right there and there. And then obviously the 3 doubles, which we have to have in the top anyways. And then we have 3 triples right there. And then our folded quad right here. So let's just build all of those. We have another triple right there. And another triple right here. We have a double in front of it. This is the worst. That, like, remember when I said this double is just happening by accident? Like, everyone else just takes care of it. Like a fucking, like, small brother, sister, whatever. This double piston extender right here is like, yo, bitches, I'm commanding you around, you're doing my bidding, and you're like completely like at my will, at my feet, whatever. I should not be doing metaphors at 6 a.m. So this is our layout, and then we have the folded quads, exactly like on the Stomach funnel, which is mainly the reason why the quad isn't the worst part of the thing, because for the longest time during development, basically up until this very moment, I had a normal quad, because I figured there's no fucking way I could squeeze in a folded quad, but I managed to fit in a folded quad. So we have the folded quad. And that's actually what we're building first, because it's exactly the same as on the funnel. Yeah, I took the liberty to just steal from myself. Exactly like on the funnel, we have a redstone block right there for the quad. We need a quad thing. Remember in the funnel how we had a redstone block double piston extender right there for the double piston extender in the middle? Well, we do have the exact same thing, except it's now on this side. And it's a fake triple. So we have this for the thing. Why is that? That's to prevent locationality thing, because we have a dust right here, and we have a dust right here, and if this was like just this would have been like insanely locational, you know. So I pull it back, and now it's definitely not locational, because, you know, that's the thing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So this is the layout for the top. And we're first going to do the quad, because the quad is the exact same circuit as the quad. The reason I moved this redstone block on the other side, so I have there's a problem with this dust right here in particular. So if I want to access this triple, I need a thing right here, and that just already doesn't work, right? So I have to use the pressure plate for this. And there's a pressure plate with a rail, which we're going to build over here. There's a rail trick, which I discovered on my own, and then I was done with this, and I showed it to Arma, and he was like, "Whoa, you didn't know about that? There's like a way easier way to do this with a rail." And it's super commonly known. Everyone knows it. And I'm like, I didn't know. No. Why does no one tell me? Why do I need to discover the fucking tripwire 4x4 when someone takes my fucking cave trapdoor and I have a heart attack? Because I'm like, oh no, I'm losing the whole, like, I'm losing a thing which I can't reclaim, and then I reclaim it, but whatever. So we have the same quad thing right here. If you remember from the funnel, we have just a 1-tick clock, which goes around at 6 repeaters per cycle. That's a weird frequency like thing. Except on the funnel, we had one more to the right and left, so we're now like reshaping all of the circuits to be, you know, different. Another thing about this doesn't actually need to be a slab, but making it a slab because the shopping list told you there would be a slab here, so you don't run out of resource by accident. Yes, that block is yellow. So torch back here, and then we pull back this piston. So on the funnel, this was actually right here, but we don't have room for that, so it's now under it and stuff and things and fuck and send help. So we have a drop over right here, and then we read that into there to rewrap the thing. If you've seen the funnel, you know exactly what this does, and if you haven't seen the funnel or don't remember, I'm going to show it anyway. So, look at this. I forgot to place a note block there because we need to update that. So, if we do this again. Oh my god, it's a folded quad circuit. What a fucking genius came up with this. Yeah, that might be me. And then when we do that again. And then power that. Oh my god, we're here now, and then from here all we need to do is do a double. Power that. Undouble the double. Properly timed so this actually like grabs it. And this will do it on the fly by like next to it, except this won't. And then we do another double because we still need to because we still have this block right there, right? So extend this to grab that, and then we do this again. Then we do this again, and then we do this again, and then the top is done. Oh my god, genius sequencing! I wonder which genius did that one a year ago, and. Yeah. Yeah, so all this needs is a dual-edged 1-tick, and how do we get a dual-edged 1-tick? This should be a slab, just to be sure. I don't know if it's actually needed. I just place slabs everywhere, precautionary, and don't worry about them for the rest of like the existence. So, yeah, with all of these blocks, we can get rid of this line, by the way. So we need a dual edge right here, and what better way to put a dual edge into places? Into one white places, because all of this room is taken up by cyan for this triple, which is not the worst. This is the worst. Then to just use the fucking beta 1.9 dual edge. Yep, I did that. And there you go. I managed to find a useful scenario for the beta 1.9 dual edge in 2021. Oh boy, this door is like the gift that keeps on giving. When's the last time you've used this? Be honest with me, when is the last time you've used this? Yeah, thought so. I mean, now that I think about it, I could have, like, okay, so I could have done, like, this thing, but then I'd have to worry about this budding that and this powering that, so I need to redirect it away from that, and then this, it wouldn't work because exactly because this would only be a falling edge. But, oh my god, it's actually the only way! Oh my god! Yeah, anyways. That's light blue done. Moving on. Moving on. To cyan, which is this one. This part of cyan, I guess. Which starts off with a rail. And a minecart on top of that rail, but not on top of that rail, we're actually like pushing it a bit over to here so stuff can do stuff and stuff. For the stove extender, while we're here, and we need to place it right now, we have a 4-tick running into that. So this does powers the 4-tick, and this stuff also fires, like it will go through here and then up and actually no, it will go through here and then up and then over, and it will power this double extender. So by the time this extends, we're in this, and then we get the full double, and then that fires the bottom part of the double. So that's why that's there. So yeah, we want a minecart right there, and we want to push it against a something, and then drop it, and then that will power the thing, and then we can pull it out, and there we go. And the reason we want that to sit on the repeater and not just on top of this wall is because we need this as a pillow for another, which is in here, which runs against, very important, a cobblestone wall. Because if so shit, I guess that works. If this rail gets pushed forward and this card is too much inside of this block, it will be sucked down onto the rail, and we can't have that happen. So it's there, and we also need this to sit on top of this when this extends. So this just doesn't fall through. This just doesn't fall through this on top of the wall block, and then we can't get it up. So yeah, that's that. So the reason for that is this has the classic rail on top of it. There we go. And we put a not rail thing on top, and then if we do this, it automatically does the next pulse for us, which is nice. And then all we have to do is push this back, and now we get the full thing. And here is this is where my knowledge ended when I started building this. So I fucked around and found out I did, and founding out I have done that if I do this with a 4-tick into this dust, into another 4-tick, into a torch to pull away this block. I am an expert when it comes to 7x7 somethings and finding a circuit which clocks until I pull out a block from it, making this the 3rd time I've done this. Yeah, so if I do this, and if I power this, right, and just this, so maybe like so. So if I power this, we get the thing, and then we power. Okay, hold on. Let me move this dust to here, and then do this, right? There we go. And then I just temporarily place another block right there. So if I power this, we get the full triple, and then if I release this simultaneously, it clocks until it does the full triple, which is exactly what I need. And here you see a problem. So this piston needs to turn on before that piston, and they need to both turn off in the same tick, and it doesn't matter in which order. So yeah, this actually like right now this would be locational, so this doesn't work. That doesn't work. I guess that would also not work. Whatever. That's just the dust line being a bitch, but you know that already. So yeah, that's how the turtle works. And then when I showed this like to Armor when everything was done, and he's like, "Yo, dude, we knew, we're like, just look at my new one wide 4x4 with pigs and chickens and shit, and you can just like place a burnout in here, and it also works. And I'm like, really? And yeah, so now we have this. So that's this triple done, if we wire it up correctly. So what happens is we take this output from here into a one tick, into a another one tick right here, and that just goes into like all of these for the doubles. So yeah, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 ticks, and then we need 4 or more ticks to this, but they both need to turn off at the same time as I showed previously. So 4 ticks to this, and to make sure that it actually turns off at 4 tick, that it like turns on after this in the same tick, so it's like in a different scheduling order. I approached Space, and Space just told me if I just do repeater comparator dust, this comparator will always be handled after this repeater, so this piston will always extend before this piston in the same tick, and therefore that will work, and therefore, yeah. So this works now completely if I detach this again and fire this. You will see there's the triple. And if I unpower this, you would see that the triple does its thing, and there we go. And these obviously don't work yet, and these are not, like, they will work as soon as we wire everything. Yeah, while we're at the doubles, might as well just build the doubles. So from this torch, we read the torch and read it out into a block, into a 1 tick, into this dust, this 4 tick, and this dust upwards, and that does the classic double piston extender retraction. If I were to just, yeah, that's yeah, I hope you saw what you needed to see there. You know, this is the classic thing, I guess. There we go. I'm going to close the door because my parents woke up and I don't want them to know I'm still here recording at all right, here we are. Here we are again. It's always such a pleasure. Remember when you try to clip twice? No, wait. So that's doubles done, and now it's time for the worst part about this entire fucking door. This triple. So, what does this, why is this triple so fucking bad? Well, first off, we need to 1 tick this to actually get the redstone block into there for the double. Because remember, the entire top is bowing down to this double. Not really, this corner just bows to this corner. You're ruining my metaphor. I shouldn't be doing metaphors at 7 AM, but yeah. I shouldn't be doing metaphors at all, really. So this needs to 1 tick, and then we do the extension, and then we end up in this situation, but we're not, because so these pistons aren't actually here. So we end up in this situation, and then we just need to push this back down and pull it back up for updating everything in the doorway. And that's a fucking annoying thing to do, you know? We don't have that much room up here. And I also went for folded quads, so we can't just have an extra layer on top. So, yeah. First things first, we need to push this down and then 1 tick that and put it back up. So that's already like a circuit on its own, if you know. So what we need is a pulse to this, and then a 2-tick to this. So 2-tick to that, 2-tick to this. How do we generate a 2-tick to this? Simple, we just make a rising edge 2-tick on top of the slab tower. With a comparator running into 2-tick. So we generate a 1.5 tick right here or something. I don't know, Space will probably be mad in the comments, or he won't because he doesn't care, and it doesn't really matter. We generate a tick, which we generate a 2-tick through this rising edge, and we just run that right down into this thing right here. Also make this a node block for later. Trust me. Source, trust me, bro. So that's how we get the 2-tick, and then for the power to that, we have our one fence, which isn't part of clipping. Why did you? Oh, right, because you're butted. Because you're not butted, but like you were butted because you got placed on top of a redstone block, so you didn't realize you were already powered because you didn't do a check for some reason, and then the thing. So we place this thing with the thing, right, thingy. And while we're here, we need to place a bunch of things. So we have like 4 minecarts in here. This is a 1-tick repeater facing that way, which looks really dumb, but remember this is actually already like powered from the redstone block, so there's no need for that. And this is technically already extended from this dust, but the middle pulse of this is like the thing, you know, just place a fucking 1-tick facing that way. Don't think it's necessary technically, but then again we need a thing similar to here, so just doesn't matter. We are going to drop in a cart like so, which hopefully is rotated correctly. That way. This card doesn't actually matter. What matters is that the card on top has to be floaty into the stack and also has to be run against a fence. Like so. Simple reason. Exactly that. Similar to this side, if we want this to automatically do the next pulse, because I do not have the room or sanity to fit another manual pulse into this. So we're just abusing as many automated pulse simplifications as I can. So we have that, and then this has to be floaty because then this will get pulled. This will pull it up, you know. But then this redstone block will unfloat it if it ever retracts, and we don't add another like stopping card to it. So we are going to add a stopping card to it. So place the thing, place the other thing. Forgot to do the other thing, so hold on. Placebo floaty, not placebo, replacement floaty card here, and then we can push this against the other floaty card, break the other floaty card, drop this onto the repeater, and now this will not be able to be unfloated by accident. And now we can place the other card, which we actually wanted to place, which is this right here, and then our one composter right there, which is actually not right there, it's actually right here. Place a repeater, or place anything with a repeater hitbox, really. Run this against another fence, get your card, run it in. And now you want to make this floaty for no reason, except there is a reason, but like it's not a reason you would expect, because the issue is when we push this in, we power the thing, if we unpower this and the plate decides to turn off the exact tick it can, which is based on when we powered it, but whatever, then this card will be pulled up into this card and it will push it. I mean, they're probably also touching, right? Like, yeah, basically they're always touching because they are. You could push this in further in, but doesn't matter. Just make this floaty work, because if this wasn't floaty, their Z coordinates would be are not identical. I mean, they are now, but they're close enough that it doesn't matter. So if this wasn't floaty, this would be definitely more left than this one, meaning this one would push this one left, and this one can't be pushed because it's already touching the block. And also probably ruins the floatiness, and I'm not sure, but whatever. So the way to stop that is to make this one floaty as well, and if you want to be extra safe, you probably could place a transparent block right there. But I've never had this break on me if both were floaty. So, yeah, maybe I'm just overprotective of the thing. So, now that that is done, now that this card is here, even though we placed 3 other cards we didn't want to place, how to power this piston? 1.16, my friend. I was about to name like one name as like a joke to exclude them from the friend statement, but I figured I shouldn't bully people. Now that powers that. So if we fire this, we get the you see, it does exactly what I told you it would do, and then if we do that again, it does it again, full retraction, although we're missing a pulse, which is bad, but will be worked around later, because one thing about automated pulses is if you don't want them, you need to be fast as fuck to get in there before it finishes. Yeah. So that's that. That's this worst triple part 1. So for the closing, this closes properly, this closes properly, this closes properly, all of this closes properly. What's left for the closing is this redstone block control, right? So let's just build the first part of the redstone block control. This will be cyan for later, even though it should be dark blue, but it's cyan because I said so. We have another of my famous hover timers. I don't know if they're famous, but you know, this is hard part for the comparator, this is hard part for the repeat and the torch, so we have a fucking thing here. This is 8 snowballs and 4 shovels, I think. Yes, shovel, 8 snowballs, shovel. And this gives a single strength of I forgot, and then we place a comparator, and we can't subtract from here because there will be wiring on this side, and there's dust right here, so we're actually subtracting right there, so we're subtracting right there, so we're subtracting right there. So, fun fact, right? We're going to subtract 8 from this. So that looks like a thing, and once again, 8 snowballs. We're going to subtract 8 from this. And now these are in compare mode, so that's why there's a comparator right here, because this is 15, this is 15, this is 14, this is 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Again, 8. We're comparing 8 to 8, which bare, like, it works, it just about works out. And we're also comparing 8 to 8 just around right here. And then we can subtract 8 there. And then we go to, I think, 13 or 14. I think 13. Yeah, 13. We go up to 13. And then 13 minus 8 is 5. And then 5 is just enough to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And, yeah, the other one doesn't matter. So that's how this looks. And by the way, there is a note block under this, which will then update this wall closer to, like, it will update it a bunch, and one of those will be when it can close, and it will close, and then we don't have to worry about that. Specifically, this dust will update that. Will update the note block, which will but update that. You know, convenient. Yeah. And then this goes just into a dust, into a dust, into a dust, and then just make these a slab just to be sure. And while we're here, might as well place the only ever useful spot of thing I found for comparator redstone block comparator negates in 5 years. You know, do the thing. And now the closing should actually work completely if we place this two tick and this dust in this. Now the closing should work, and that's the reason why this has to be a node block, because then this dust will but update the piston in the position of the redstone block currently, and then it will extend and do the thing. Except the closing doesn't work because we're still missing something very important, which I won't get into right now. We will build that later. I mean, later is basically right now. So if we were to close this right now, fuck. This is awkward. I forgot something. Why didn't you do the thing? Bro, I demonstrated you working. Why aren't you working? Okay, if we ignore this little fuck up, we get to this, and oh my god, look at that. That is one sexy what the fuck. Yes, I didn't ever replace that, so that is one sexy doorway, isn't it? So yeah. And then when we open this, we just get pretty much nothing in the top. I mean, that triple works, but I told you that triple works, and then these need to be manually dealt with. These will be dealt with by dark blue, and yeah, this guy isn't wired up at all, and this guy also isn't wired up at all. And why aren't you subtracted? You're unsubtracted because you're not built yet, right? So here we are. This is this will get updated later, and you will get updated eventually. So let me just figure out why this didn't work, because it works, but it didn't for some reason. Let me just fire this again, I guess. I really like. Let's just wire it up. Why didn't the one tick work? Oh, you see, this does this, but updating the fake triple below, which is not supposed to happen. So if we make this a slab, it would definitely will work. So yeah, let me just reopen it. And then just subtract you, retract you. There we go. So if we do this again, don't worry about these walls closers, doesn't really matter. See, there we go, and then the redstone block double will extend. It won't extend because yellow is missing an updater. So, the thing. So, when... Oh my god, there's another node block right here. There you go. Now it works. And for later, we need an updater right there before I forget it. And, yeah. That works. Now we're here. We are here. What is missing? Everything is in place. We need to just, as I explained earlier, we need to push this down to update all of these so they realize that actually, like, there is power. There you go. Now everything is closed. So let's think real quickly. We need to extend this piston for the thing, and what better place to do that is from back here. Shit's wild, I know, but like, trust me. This is the best and most convenient. This block right here, this very block right here, is the best and most convenient place to pulse this piston on the closing. You don't believe me? Well, you should. So if we open this again and start building our massive item loop. Oh, what happened here? Doesn't matter. It's not done in any ways. You're updated. You're updated. You're pulled back. And are those really 3 node blocks next to each other? It's not. See, there isn't a second node block there, so it was this piston. Yeah, of course, it is this piston. So, so when the dust reaches signal strength 3 from the hopper timer, it will extend this piston. And this piston will update the piston right there, and that causes it to update. Because what happens right now is when the back fake triple piston extends on the 1 tick, it will extend, and when this piston is ready as a block right here, what's currently happening is this piston is already extending from this 2 tick, right? Because this is like what, 1, 4, 3, 4. So this is like extended and starts extending in 4 ticks, and this needs like 1, 3, 2.5. I don't know. Stop talking to me. But yeah, the thing. Anyways, we were at why this block is the most convenient place for this pulse. So we need an item loop in here. We need an item loop here anyways, because you saw this triple fire, this top piston fires 3 times, and that's like 1, 2, 3, and then on the opening it's 1, 2, 3, and that's actually not what happens because this one is held on from dark blues, so we end up in this situation, and we don't want to end up in this situation because we actually want to end up in this situation. So just like on the 4x4 funnel where we had a comparator right here to hold on this to negate one of these 1 ticks, in this store we have it down there for convenience reason. So inside of light blue is an item loop anyways, so we might as well just reroute that to get a pulse to there, right? Just because why not, you know? Because even on the funnel in light blue there was an item loop which just goes around to refire that. It wasn't actually to refire that, it was to fire cyan off of like this, but yeah, fuck off, there was an item loop in light blue all along. So for this particular door, we need a dropper right here and a hopper right there. So when everything is closed, there needs to be an item in this dropper, and then when the first pulse comes through here, we fire this hopper, and this hopper powers the piston in that spot, and that spot prevents it from getting 1 ticked on the next 1 tick, and then everything is fine. I am fine. And then the return line just goes under all of these. So we have a piston, two droppers and a third dropper right here, and a dropper facing upwards because we somehow need to get upwards again, and then just hopper all of these up. Now, if we replace what we just broke, right, we have a dust, a repeater, a comparator, and a dust, and uh-oh, we have a dust powering 2 droppers at once. This is locational. So, depending on if your droppers right here require 2 or 1 pulse to send the item through, we need a third dropper. We need the third dropper under here. So, I know because I've already like done this tutorial in this location as a practice, or like as a mental guide. Because yes, I do this tutorial for myself, so that's like 3 hours, and now I'm doing it for you, which is like another 3 to 4 hours, and then I'm going to edit it, which means I need to watch all of those 4 hours to check for mistakes or like editing text on screen, and then I need to render that and then upload it, and then just to make sure I actually skip through all the to all the edit points to make sure that there wasn't like a rendering issue. So in total, I've done this tutorial I've seen or like done the tutorial 4 times for you, and that's why the 7-hour redstone block only 5 lava lamp takes ages. Yeah. Sorry. So depending if this if this throws out the item in 1 pulse or 2, we need this dropper another repeater. So we need this item to take 2 pulses to get to here, because that's just what we need, right? And in this location, these 2 will take 2 pulses to get through, and in this location it will take 1 pulse to get to. So in this location, these 2 droppers are basically just 1. So 1 pulse gets them through that, and the second pulse gets them out of this dropper. But in this location over here, since those already take up 2, I can remove this and just make it a hopper instead. So the way you figure that one out for yourself is by just doing the 3 droppers, and we're both going to fire it once, and we're going to look what happens, and then you can make the call if you need it or you don't. So replace everything which we broke, right? While we're at it, might as well just, you know, do the hopper corner right here. 1 tick, hopper right there. There's a normal block in here and a minecart. For the minecart, just run it against fences. Doesn't matter. Just need to connect the dropper to the hopper down there. Boop, and push it in, and drop it down, and replace this as well as the node block, and then replace. Well, now that this is a hopper, we can't bud that anymore, so we need to place a solid block right there, and replace this. Dust. We had 4 repeaters like so, and then we had a repeater like this, and a block, and a piston, and there we go. Don't worry about the item yet. So everything sort of looks alright from what my brief checking gave you. So we're gonna close it, and hopefully this up here also works now. Yeah, you see that? This piston updated the back piston, and now this works properly. Now, depending on the timing of this plate, not even that plate, like depending on like some plate, right, depending on the either this plate or this plate turning off, I think it's this, doesn't matter. One plate, something causes there to be like 4 different opening animations, and yeah, it doesn't matter. In this case, we got lucky, and the triple actually extended before like when it had time. But in the other, as you saw before, these don't actually like realize that there's a redstone block there. So that's why we need to push this down anyways. And then now we're here. So what I want you to do now is get yourself a cyan wood block. It should be light blue, but there are 2 items in here anyway, so might as well use cyan, right? Because the cyan is the bullshit. So get a cyan and put it in this dropper. And now we are going to do the thing. And now we're going to do the thing. Open it. There you saw how one of the top 1 ticking got negated by the item loop, which we just placed. Repair all of this. Or don't. I mean, you don't have to, but you know. Which gets us 1 step closer to do the middle triple and the quad. So now we need to check where our item actually ended up being. I know what the result already. So if you are in a 3-dropper location, your item will be in this dropper. It's not. So we are in a 2-dropper location, which means our item is actually in the second of these 2 droppers, right there. So if you have a 2-dropper location, we can kill this dropper, and we have to kill this dropper and replace it with another hopper. So your shopping list is off all of a sudden, and you're going to be mad at me and dislike the video. But no one's going to see that you dislike the video, because YouTube is a great and creator-friendly platform, right? Or even user-friendly platform, right? So, yeah. In this location, I need 2 of these, and then in this location, I need 3 of these, and that's just on you to figure out. I just told you how you figure it out. And yeah. And yeah, and here's the other item when the other item is in either of these droppers. In this case, it's right here. So you see that the plate is actually holding this thing, and when the repeater fires, it holds on the hopper anyways, so that's how the thing goes. So your second item is sitting in this hopper. As I said, this is the most convenient spot to have an item. Because of just the timing on the closing and the stuff and the thing. And one closing cycle, including all the pulses which come through the circuit, will put the item from this thing through this into this. And then we just need to make sure that this travels to here, which we do because, I mean, if you think about it logically, when is this item going to leave? This item is going to leave when this torch, this is like a falling edge. So this item is only going to leave after for like 8 ticks, 9 ticks, and then the 4 tick turns back off, and then the item is going to jump out. But at that point, this clock is already done, and the item is just going to chill in here. So just going to connect that to that is what I would say if it was like that. So this is what this is roughly what the 7x7 funnel had of an item loop, except it went the other way around, and like it went counterclockwise, and read right there instead of where we are reading, and we don't actually need the whatever. So instead of that, we need to make a detour for this piston. So how to make a detour for this piston? Well, we have a convenient gray block right here, right? Because, I mean, okay, so if you think about it, right, every other fucking block in this plane is occupied. So this is the piston, can't get through there. This is the rail, can't get through there. This is repeater already, this block already, this repeater already. So this slice already only leaves this air block. And then the next slice has a block, a block, a block, a repeater, and a block. So these two are literally our only 2 ways to get through this through this circuit over here. And that's exactly what we're doing. So we're reading the comparator. We're reading with the comparator. We're reading this hopper, and we need to reroute this. So this item goes from here, up here, into this, back down into this dropper, and then gets spit out and goes under what we just went through, and back over here. So this entire item loop is just you know, like a T shape, like this or something. And yeah, so let's just build the thing. So you want to break all of this because we have 3 hoppers, and this is our entire fucking item loop. The rest is going to be minecarts, and because this is also why we have 2 droppers right here and not a hopper, because logically speaking, Cube, why do we use 2 droppers and then a random third one, which we might throw out or we don't, instead of just using 2 separated? Because we need 2 droppers right here anyways, because otherwise if these were hoppers, they would suck from the top loop of the item loop. So, you know. So I'll send right there and actually just break all of this. So we want a slab right there, and I guess we can replace this. We want a slab right there. We want a. We don't want a slab right there. We want a slab right there. We don't want a slab right there. We want a slab right here. So we want a slab right there, because on that slab we are going to drop a fire mixtape. I mean, we are going to drop a hopper cart, like so. And that hopper cart needs to be floaty that way. Are you floaty that way? You are floaty that way. As well as clipped deep into a salt sand, and I mean really deep. Oh shit, that's deep. I mean, I kind of ruined the joke. I could have said that when it was clipped done, and then I would have said... Forget I said that. So now we push that in, and break that, and now we just push it over nicely. And then we actually want to push it over again, so it's lined up against this wall. And now we have a really deep minecart clip. Like, Oh shit, that's deep. I mean, it could be deeper, but like, that's enough for our purposes. And our purposes are, yeah, just a chest on top of that, which is really anticlimactic now that I think about it. So just place that. Run a chest again against it. Which all of these cards which we're placing right now need to be rotated exactly like parallel to the door, so they don't collide. And then we can just drop that on top of that and place that. And then, yeah, replace none of these because actually, yeah, we can replace the Fortic, and then we place the dust, the Fortic. Remember, there's dust on the soul sand right there inside the cart, and then we just push in the thing again. Don't worry about this card. It can't get pushed out because it's colliding with the slab and the repeater, and then it can't get pulled back because the block doesn't have internal hitboxes. Yeah. So now that's the first part done. Our item will now be able to travel if we do this clip. If we do this clip. The item will now be able to travel from our most convenient place in the whole door, which is this hopper. It will now be able to travel all the way. You are not rotated right correctly, but that literally doesn't matter, and that's just a visual bug, I think. Its actual rotation should be fine. Yeah, so our item will now be able to travel from the most convenient place in the door after the falling edge happens. Pseudo falling edge, like it just happens to be a falling edge, which is good because this happens. This pulse has to happen after this is done, and after this is done, and after this is done. So we need as much detail as we can. So it will travel from here into this card, into this hopper, into this hopper, into this chest card, into this hopper card, into this hopper. We'll get read through this comparator, into this one tick, into this dropper hopper, and that just goes out that way. Slab, so we don't actually accidentally butt that, even though it can be butted, because after the 4 tick it will update this double boosting extender, which will then break the butt, but whatever. Precautionary slab, which doesn't need to be a slab. And then this needs to have an unstable item, so we get enough signal strings to get through here. Cube, why can't you just have a block right there? Patience, my child, we will get to there. Do not question the elevated one. I've done that joke before, and I realized that when last time I did the joke, I actually elevated my chair, and I realized I don't have a face cam, so you could see that I elevated my chair, making the whole joke completely useless, and now that I'm pointing out to it, it sort of retcons the joke being useless, making the whole explanation useless. Anyways, so that's how we get the pulse on the closing, if we connect these two up. So that's that. Now the closing should work as soon as we finish the item loop, of course. I mean, it works right now, except, yeah, the light blue would fail because we broke blocks, but, you know, whatever. Oh my god. I should just shut up, honestly. Next up, Soul Sand right there with floaty minecart on top because we need it. And we're not going to push the block on yet because we need another thing. So this hopper will now be able to hopefully push to this, yeah, hopefully push to this card. And now we get to the now we need to go from this card to this hopper, but because it's floaty that way, there's no way to like make it floaty that way because it can't be floaty in two directions at the same time. Mojang, when do we get double chest cards? Question mark. That's a joke. Don't do it. Please don't. I can't remember even more clips and things. So now we need a hopper card similar to what we did right here, which needs to be lower and floaty to that one. So Technically speaking, you could clip it into this very salt sand, but at that point, when building this, I just gave up. I wanted to be done with it, so I just did a fucking stack. So we're just gonna stack. We are just going to stack 2 pillows and a hopper cart on top of each other. And drop these 2 in. And then we can, don't forget to replace this block as well as the dust which we broke, right? And then we drop this onto a slab. Push it against our floaty chest. And then drop that down, and now it will sit on the salt sand as well. So we actually need to break the salt sand so it drops further, and then we need to replace the salt sand. Don't retract that piston because that would pull up the thing. Now we need to replace the chest. Make that floaty again. Drop it in, and now we can hopefully get the thing to here. Why not? Because I didn't make you float. I didn't make you float to the side. You're floaty that way. You're double floaty that way. And also single floaty that way. Are you single floaty that way? You are single floaty that way. And now, you drop in. And then push in the salt sand. Like that. And then we drop you in. And then we can push these 2 blocks down. Now light blue is restored again. Did we place the dust? We did. So there's dust in there, yes. Salt sand powers the note block, yes. Everything should be fine. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. 1 item in this most convenient space block in the door to power that piston. And 1 should be in either this dropper or if you have the thing right here, you know. Everything here looks fine. This 1 tick is fine. Connected them up. And this has the thing, this has a 1 tick, there's a comparator, yes. And now this closing should work 100%. There we go, the closing is done after 3 hours. Closing is done. There's still so much more to do. I mean, but basically just dark blue, but like, oh my god, there's so much more to do. Because if we were to open this right now, what would we find? We need the extra moves of dark blue. And, yeah. And the extra moves for the worst triple and for the worst thing in the entire thing. So we're gonna start with that. So all of this right here, the triple and this triple and the quad are completely done from dark blue. That's also what you saw on the 7 funnel. That will just do it on its own. And then these should have reset to here and there. Yes, so our item loop works as intended. And the reason why this has to be pushed over for this again is because if we look at this, right? There. You can see how they like bear almost touch, and then how they would like, move each other, and we don't want them to move. And because if we move this one even slightly, then this hopper right there will be able to suck from it, which breaks the entire loop. And it's similar situation over here. If this ever like it's over this, and you know, millimeter precision. I am German. It's not racist if I do it about myself. Yeah. So what's left? This thing is actually rather easy to fix. This double piston extender just needs a dust right here. Now, so it's connected to all of the other double piston extender. Now there is an issue that this is locational in 1/6 roughly of the locations, because actually on the Synergy World Record plot, which is the first time I've like built the door elsewhere and immediately stumbled across this. Like for a Lego fan, I built it twice, and on my own plot I built it once. So built it 3 times, didn't notice any locationality, and then on record plots I noticed this locationality, and here in the tutorial world I noticed this locationality, and this one was already like worked out before the planning. Like this was already planned in from the get-go. So make sure you track this, by the way, so otherwise the thing will fail by the next time you close it. So there are certain locations where this will extend like this, and you're gonna cry in a corner. Why does this happen? It's because... So what needs to happen is we're getting the signal from right here, right? So what needs to happen is this repeater needs to update the dust. The dust needs to update this dust. And this dust needs to update this dust before it updates this dust. Or I guess the other way is this dust updates this dust before this dust has updated this piston. So whatever happens, this dust needs to be on. So either of these has to update this, so it's on. And then this has to update this, so it's on. And then this needs to send an update specifically downwards before anything else, so that the first update that happens is this piston. And then the next update that's going to happen is minus X of this, and then plus X, and then minus Y, and then plus Y. Point is, this dust updates this block, which this block then updates this piston, and this piston is like, yo, I'm gonna extend. So the pistons are going to be scheduled in the order of whatever, 1, 2, and then all the other updates happen, and this is scheduled 3rd, meaning these extend and this doesn't. Which is insanely rare. I haven't found a spot where it works, where it fails in like right here. So if we just really quickly improvise a stack of 20 of these, and these break sometimes because I don't know why World Edit is like this, but it is. So if we just find a spot, maybe by accident, we probably won't. As expected, we didn't find a spot, but I guarantee you that this has happened. Just look at the world record plot and like, don't do it, but if you go to the world record plot on Synergy, it's there, and if you go there and place this dust and fire it, you will see it breaks. So if you run into that issue, you need to place a target right here. So to the target lovers, haters, I am sorry. It's locational without targets. And miraculously, this barely works out with the timing, because there is an item loop right on top of this, which just happens to not get cucked by that. So yeah. So place a target if it's if the closing breaks for you, and if you don't have a problematic closing, just place a dust. Doesn't matter. Yeah. So what the fuck is this item loop, and why are there 2 items in here? Well, as I said, we need extra moves for this triple. So the extra move is an extra firing off the top. So makes sense, right? We are currently in this situation, and we fire this again. We get to this situation. And this is a lot more manageable because as soon as dark blue decides to pulse, we get the extension, and then we're done. So yeah. So how do we get an extra pulse to that? Well, we don't, because we're just going to start the most complicated clock there is. So yeah, we have a converter right here. And if we close the whole thing again, right, so if we close the whole thing again, you'll notice the pull switch comes through here from the closing already punched an item out, which is now stuck in this due to 1.16. And I think maybe even before 1.16. Not sure though, because there's not like a connector right here. So probably not. So as soon as this releases power on the opening, what's going to happen is the item will go through, give this an extra pulse, and that's going to do some like stuff. However, this will start clocking this thing endlessly because it tries to it pushes down this piston and then pulls it back up, but then this piston grabs air. Because it grabbed air, this piston will then extend. The minecart will be bumped up again, and it will just bump. And when this pulse comes through here, it will fire the second item, when the first item is still in this hopper, I think, which is why there are two in there. So that it keeps it on for ages, and then this happens, and then it all works out. Just look at it, I guess. You see that just clocks endlessly, and you saw there that right there is why we need the thing. So now we've done the extra moves for this, and as I showed before, the last pulse will be done by dark blue. So we have made it through the worst part of the thing. This works now as soon as we're dark blue. So the only thing left now is dark blue. So what does dark blue need to do? Dark blue needs to do a full double extension. Well, first off, dark blue needs to do this to finish the quad. So the quad doesn't end like this, the quad ends like this. And then dark blue needs to do a full double, retract the full double, fire a 2-tick falling edge that way into this to grab this, but it doesn't act so like so the quad doesn't actually grab anything on the first run. The first pulse to this is actually so that this piston right here grabs the thing it's trying to grab. So then we end up in this situation with, so we go from this situation to we go from this situation to this situation, and then from here to here, and then one of those singles happen again to do that. And that's everything, because that will also pulse this by accident, and or by accident, but like it will happen to pulse it because it's the same, like it's right next to it, you know. Because the person who designed it was very smart, apparently. Because remember when I said we moved the redstone block from here to there? Because this, we could have 2 control circuits for 2 redstone blocks, but why not just have 1 control circuit for 2 redstone blocks? As also this rail circuit, because someone didn't tell me about the burnout, is way bigger than it has to be, because this is like, what, 2 by 5, so this is like 2 by 5 footprint, and if we put that in here, we have no room for dark blue anymore, because like all of this room would be gone to cyan. So yeah, so I just swapped the places. So this has all the room it needs, and convenient item loop in the middle of it, because we couldn't fit an item loop in dark blue, because dark blue already has like item loop. That has 3 item loops of its own. 4. 5 if we count this. So that's why I swapped them around, because now we have them conveniently next to each other. So smart planning by smart builder. I should stop sucking my own dick on video and making it look like I'm a huge fucking ego. That's the trapdoor factory speaking. Cube isn't actually that cocky, I swear. So now we have the. let's just build it. I'm like. So if you've seen the 4x4, the 5x4, fucking 7x7 funnel, we have a thing right here, which when the double retracts, starts a really long delay, which then does the single for when the quad is done to do the thing, which is what I told you about. So just like on the 4x4 funnel, 7x7 funnel, we have a 3-tick right here to do even more extra moves for the triple, because I'm not going to explain this triple now, because the tech is like 3 extra moves, and I've already explained all of the extra move in this. I already explained extra move in this. Already explained the extra. So just place the 3-tick right there, and now we need to start placing bullshit minecarts again, because our return line is this, and this, and then we need to get an item from this hopper, from this dropper into this hopper in particular. And yeah, it's not happening. If you look at the sum funnel, you will see that the minecart is just clipped into all of these, and because this is locked anyways, you know, it doesn't like give a shit. Except here it does, because when on the funnel this fires for the first time, the power goes to here. Or like it does, like 1.16 doesn't matter. This dust locks the hopper. So when the dropper fires, the only place it can go is to there. But here, the single strength actually only goes to here, and this just gets butted. So this is unlocked, and then it would be locational. So we need to do another one of these like pyramid soul sand hopper cart things to get that into there. So we're doing that. So grab a slab right there. We want a slab right there. We want a minecart facing, that's important, that way. We want a hopper minecart facing that way, which gets pushed onto this, like a bit onto the slab, but is also floaty like towards us. And we drop that, and then we clip that into, then we just push in the soul sand. And then we can push this over. So now this hopper cart should deliver to this hopper, and that's great. And now we just need another chest cart, which is pushed against that one. So grab a thing, block right there. Nope, that way. Push that in. Drop it like it's hot, and push that against that, and then break block, replace the dust, and then we're good. And this is another, like all of these need to face in the same direction so they don't collide, because stuff. And then there is another card right there, obviously, to finish the return line. And there we go. Now this dropper has a dark blue item in it, and right there. And it can only go into this card, and it can only go into this card. It will go into this card, and this card will go into that card, and then this will go into there. And we can't have another hopper right there, which is what we had on the funnel, except the funnel went one longer that way, so it didn't even matter. So we need another 40. We need more delay between this. So So let me just build the thing. So we have a 2-tick right there, 2-tick right there, and then this is our falling edge, and then there's going to be a 4-tick into there, which except there isn't. So, I mean there is, but we're not doing it right now. So we want to drop another card in there. because we need another card right there. So grab another pillow card and drop it in because I said we need it. Then we do that, and then we place our fortic, except we don't because first we do a diagonal rail, and then do that, and then okay. So here we are. We need a floaty card, which is. We need a chest card, which is floaty towards us. Or towards this hopper in particular. And then we want to, well, don't touch it, because we need a rotated clip. And as soon as you touch it, it updates its rotation, and we don't want that. So we just push that over, and then drop it in. And we need to make it refloaty, because I forgot that. Hold on, the cat is scratching on the door. Alright, sorry, that took longer than expected. I'll probably just make a fucking cut here. So we need to refloat this, because the rail resets its floatiness anyways, so that was dumb by me. Luckily for us, it is in a very easy to refloat position, because there's nothing here. Unlike certain other cards, which are a pain to refloat, not naming names. And then that's just floated over, and then we can just push it in. And replace this hopper and this block. So the reason why this, why we can't have override there is because we're powering this piston from right here. So we need a butt update, and we can't put the butt update there because that's still hard powered by the dust down there. So we need the butt update right there. So we put it right there. And yeah, replace this block, I guess. Dust in there, yes. Dust on the dropper, yes. 3 tick in there. 2 tick, 4 tick, 2 tick. Okay, so as part of our next long-ass falling edge delay is that item goes through here, comes through here. Gets right through here, and now we need to get an extra delay. This was already on the funnel. And then on the funnel we had it like so, which then gets which then gets read through here. But because we have this missing hopper right here, we need an extra delay. So what we're actually doing is not this, we're actually doing this. And just place the thing in there. Now that I think about it, these can just be dark blue items, but I made them unstackable for whatever reason. So yeah, these can be anything really. And then of course we need a card. I guess it makes it funnier because of how full the shovel chest is. Push that over. Put it there, put there. Yeah, so 2 items because otherwise this will be T flip-flop and we don't want that. Or like not that, like this would only fire every second time, so we don't want that. So now if we do everything again. Fuck. Excuse me. Oh, I broke the 2 tick. Oops. There we go. And now if we do the opening. You will see if you took in the top left corner that long ass delay which does that, and now we're here. And now we are in the position which I told you about. So, how do we get from here? Now we need to do 2 full double extensions and this falling edge, which will conveniently do whatever the fuck we need it to do. So, just like on the funnel, we are just going to fire that from here, because the 2 tick is always fired, ever, so, but it only locks, so it doesn't do shit unless we also fire the 4 tick, and we only fire the 4 tick if we do this comparator. But this comparator will only, because it's a comparator and like we're looking up for a two-hopper chain, it will only ever give out like a 3.5 tick pulse, which is not long enough to fully extend this double. So we also need to power the back piston of this double first. So that's why this comes in. And now you will start to run into an issue. This can go. In case you aren't aware of the issue is called, we have around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have around 10 blocks of air right here. And we need to get 2 full double extensions on a delay, on a specific timing. We're also worrying about our item getting stuck like in there and never returning. So, what do we do? What do we do? We simplify the inputs. So we have a dropper, and another dropper, which is weird that this chest said like what 15 droppers, 18 droppers. It feels like there should be way more, but like I guess there are so many hoppers. Whatever. I mean there are 5 here. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, so the dropper count is off. I'll edit that later. I'll edit that over the shopping list. So we simplify this so that when this fires, when this fires, we also send an item to that, and we only have 1 input to worry about instead of 2. So we are just gonna place a card in there because we need a card in there. So we are going to place a card in there, and if you don't place a card in there, it's not going to work, and that would be bad. So place a card in there, place a thing, and then the bottom has 1, and then the top has. The middle has 1, the top doesn't matter because the top is always fine. And that also doesn't matter because this powers both of them, but it doesn't matter because the item will get stuck in the top dropper and not accidentally fire this way too early. And then this will do the thing. It all works out nicely because the person who built this is very smart. Yeah. So now we have only 1 input to worry about. So what the fuck do we do? This needs to get a pulse, this just needs to fire an item through this comparator. At certain points in time when we want it to, and now we run into a nice hopper 1, by the way. You know, like this one right there. Very cool. Now we run into an issue because once again we have 6 air blocks left, and we are running out of space. Even though space is expanding, so technically if you wait a couple of years, there should be more space here, but probably doesn't work the way I just made that sound. So how do we place a hopper ROM in here? Because let's face it, we need a hopper ROM to time when 2 of these are happening, and yeah. So what we need is a hopper ROM in here. How do we do a hopper ROM in here? We don't. Shit. We do the hopper ROM. We do the hopper ROM in here because this is like a really nice spot to do a hopper ROM, right? This is constantly locking a hopper in this location. This dust will lock a hopper in this location. Easy ROM space. Let's go. Convenient error block right there, which we can just read out and negate this comparator with. Almost as if the person who made this had the foresight of knowing they wouldn't be able to fit a hopper ROM into this because this is one smaller than the funnel. Also, the funnel had an extra like triple one tick here because of how the funnel was designed in a smart way, which was smart for the funnel because the funnel needed that, but this one doesn't need that. So the smart person who made this didn't put it in here. And yeah, so we are going to negate this constantly, obviously. Subtract mode, please. Now there's another issue because well, this can't be on 24/7. You know, when you usually do hopper ROMs like this, we constantly subtract 24/7, doesn't no fucks given. And I could do that. I tried that. I tried for around 4 hours to have a permanently on ROM right here, which I would call the inverted ROM because it was like, you know, the ROM was always full and a gap of an item traveled through the ROM. And after around 4 hours and multiple conversations with Spacewalker, I had the epiphany that inverted ROMs were never done before because, not because no one was as smart as the person who made this, but because inverted ROMs do not work. I mean, they do, but like, they don't. They do, but they have so many issues which you can't fix, like locationality and the fact that your ROM beginning shifts over by 4 items every time we use it, which is like, not good when you're depending on timing and items arriving in the correct order. Like, someone needs to invent TCP for hopper timers. Just kidding. The TCP for hopper timers already, like... I shouldn't be awake right now. Yeah. So then the issue is if this is on, this is off. Like we're not subtracting 24/7 because we can't fit the usual ROM. We subtract a fixed value from the ROM or timer. And since we can't fit the timer in here, we need to flip it around. So we ROM subtract from a fixed input, which works as long as the ROM is constantly on, but I just explained why that doesn't work. So we need a toggle right here, which turns on when we want it to turn on, and then we ROM it, and then when the ROM is done, this has to be off again. So let's do that. We have these items in here, which are just gonna place a minecart like right there. So we have 2 shovels in this minecart. Why is it in the minecart? Because this plate is holding it on, almost as if... Okay, this shovel is getting like way too out of control. Yeah, we have a thing right here, and so when the closing happens, the items get from this shovel, the items get from the cart into the hopper, from the hopper into the dropper, and then when we turn when the opening happens and dark blue does its first falling edge through here, this vortex fires this dropper and the top dropper, and the bottom dropper is budded, but the bottom dropper doesn't realize it, so we update it using this dust, because this is a 4 tick pulse, right? So this is on for 4 ticks, and after 2 ticks, this comparator, like 2 redstone ticks, I think this comparator turns on, this dust turns on, that does its updates, and that updates this dropper, which is like, oh hey, I'm powered, so that powers. So the first falling edge happens, and the first shovel enters this dropper. And now that this dropper has now this is on, but this has a constant signal, but the ROM is already going. The ROM is already ROMing the fuck out of itself. So, because the ROM is connected to this dust, and this falling edge is connected to, like, first off this 1 tick, and then the torch, this comparator, and then this turning off, and then this, and this. So even if this was like directly wired without a hopper timer, the ROM would ROM off instantly, while we would take 1, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 1 falling edge ticks to even get here. So the ROM is already ROMing, and then this turns on, and it's getting ROMmed. So it's getting ROMmed, and the ROM does its thing, and the ROM is like, yo, bro, now is the time to shine. Do the double, and the ROM allows the constant signal to do the double, and the double happens, meaning this piston extends because of the node block, because of the comparator, and the item gets shot from here into there, firing this comparator, firing to the front of the double piston extender, as well as this falling edge. And then the ROM is like, bro, if you keep on for long enough, the double will fail, so it stops, and then the double subtracts, and then the ROM really quickly afterwards like, yo, bro, do another double. So it does another double, and then so wait, hold on, I was a bit too fast. So so it does double, and then it does another double, and in the meanwhile there are signals coming through the falling edge, right? So the next falling edge signal arrives, and it's like, yo, shovel, get the fuck out of here. So the shovel gets the fuck out of there, and then this thing updates that thing, and then the second shovel enters it, and it's like, yo, and then the ROM is like to the second shovel, yo, now is the time to do double, and then it does another double, you know, and then it does another double, and then the next falling edge comes in, which then get the fuck out of here shovel, and then the second shovel gets the fuck out of here. This update happens, no new shovel is there, so this just turns off, and that means the ROM can finally stop ROMing and turn off itself. So what we have here is not a hopper ROM, which is constantly getting negated. We have a sometimes signal, which gets negated by the ROM. Also, only sometimes. So, and if you look at this, right, there are 0 air blocks in this corner. 0. And conveniently, this dust is currently like being redirected by the comparator, but if we do the 1.16 strat of placing a tripwire hook right there, this dust is now pointing into this piston, which then subtracts the fake triple and then prevents the locationality of all of that bullshit, as well as do the closing as we've discussed probably around half an hour ago at this point. More. Yeah, so now if we build the ROM, this is done. All of it is done. I'm done. I'm just done. Spy. Play this at my funeral. So how does the ROM look? Well, as I discussed, the comparator right there is reading through this block, so we need a hopper right there already. So this is our reading hopper. And yeah, our reading hopper, and then as I discussed before, these are our station hoppers. So the station A, the station, like the station 1, the station 2. So the items are currently stuck in this hopper, or in alternatively, which is actually happening in the minecart, this hopper is trying to suck from. So when this turns on, this dust will, the piston will unlock this hopper. It will temporarily get locked from the 2-tick, but it doesn't matter, and the items will get stuck in this hopper and or in this case, the cart, which is in between these, because this is locked by the dust. And then on the opening, this dust is unlocked, the hopper is like, yo, there's a cart full of items here, let me just suck that, and then the ROM roms, and then it roms through here, which is actually the point where we read the ROM, and then from here just resets back to where it needs to be. Makes sense so far, right? Okay, fine, let's just do the thing. So, do you see this? There is a minecart going to be like clipped inside of this hopper, which has a 2-tick on top, as well as a fucking immovable container next to it. How does this happen 5 times in one door? Oh my fucking god. So yeah, floaty stack pillow it is. Oops. Shit, where did the items go? Hold on. Okay, no items were. Wait, what? I guess I picked them all up. Okay. So, once again, we need to worry about the orientation of this fuck face. So, rotate it like this. Push it in. And now we're going to place the furnace. Like so. Replace the items, which were a shovel and half a stack of snowballs. And now we do the corner clip again. So, like that. Except we probably wanted to do it over here to match the rotation of the cart. So grab a chest cart and yeah, place it on the corner. I mean, you can also place it there and push it in, but you know, place it on the corner. And then you push that in. Already probably want to put a block right there so it can't go off that way. Oh yes, that's rotated so nicely. Let's go a bit more. And now you just stop here and realize, hold on, we need to fucking float this guy. So, might as well float the guy, right? Assuming cart's gender at this point. I'm way too, like, shouldn't be awake. Pushing this over, and then pushing it over that way. Okay, and now we make it floaty that way. Break that. Just floaty. Looks floaty to me. Replace the comparator. And now we can push this in. Like so. And now we can 0-tick in the node block from here. And now replace this and replace the 2-tick and replace this 1-tick and this comparator and this and this and this. And now the only thing that's left is a very simple clip. The standard clip into, it's not even a clip, okay, it is a clip. Grab a soul sand. Guys are there. Do the normal clip into a comparator, which can be an either subtract or thing, but I like it on subtract because its purpose is to subtract and not compare. Or like it's comparing to so much that it's basically a subtraction. Anyways, so do that, and then we need to make this guy floaty to over here, so break this, break that, put this there, place the chest on top. Floatiness achieved, and then dust, replace the 2-tick, replace this dust. And yeah, as I think I explained before, but this knock block is getting powered by this dust from all of this bullshit, which closes the wall. And then we push this guy in, and now we are done, except we need to do the ROM and also worry about this update. So yeah, ready for the ROM? Here's the ROM. 10 shovels. Yep, that's because I explained the ROM starts romming ASAP, and this needs to go through the timer and through the whole falling edge once to actually get to where we need to start romming. But at that point, 3 items. The 3 items are exactly as long as it takes for this thing to perform a double piston extension, as well as like the minimum requirement, and then actually also the maximum requirement, because if you hold it for any longer, the next falling edge will kick out the shovel, and the whole timer will be off. So you need 3 items, and then 3 more delay, and then we do the next double. And this can be anything. This could be 3, like normal wool, as long as it's not unstackable, you know. But I just happen to have snowballs in my inventory, so I'm using snowballs. And then just like 5 more shovels, because, as I said, we need to wait for another round of the falling edge for this item to leave, so we can actually turn off the ROM at that point. So that's why we need this many items in the ROM, inside of the furnace. Now, have you built this? Are you following up? Okay, so now that we've all built this and all suffered through 5 of these clips together, remember what I said 2 hours ago? My guess is 2 hours ago when we actually like built all of this. Actually, no, like an hour ago when we started building the top. Anyways, so remember 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. I could have just pushed in a full composter and saved myself all of this mess. Yeah. So now the opening works. And when the opening animation is done, you need to wait for the last couple of snowballs in here for the master timer, which is actually in control of the... Like, the reason why there are this many excess items is for when magenta turns off, so that magenta can turn this on, this torch on when... Well, also it has something to do with this triple being done and then the wall closing up over here, but that's like not the issue. The main issue is the fucking ABBA gate to this piston. This is piston! So this turns on. So we need to delay this turning on long enough so that all of the negates and the burnout already have updated this as much as it could, but this is still on, so this is still blocked, so this can't push up, so that when all of the items are done, this pushes up to push the item up, to release purple, to do the ABBA for magenta, which requires green lime to lock the orange, to lime requires yellow, yellow requires light gray requires dark gray requires this light gray, this requires purple. We've been over this. So that's why there are this many access items, and I think you need like 2.5 seconds after the animation is finished to wait. And on the opening, since this falling edge takes ages. I told you why it takes ages. Don't fucking flame me for it. Because of how long this takes, when the opening animation finishes, the master timer is already long gone. I mean, the master timer has 6 items when this torch turns on because we subtract 1. So the whole magenta itself even takes long enough for the master timer to finish. And the reason the funnel has cooldown is because of this burnout, just as a precautionary manner. But because this burnout is done way before the top. Yeah. Yeah. So. The closing doesn't actually need to worry about this ROM not being done yet, because the time it takes to get to the ROM is more than enough for any leftover undone business in the ROM to be done until the signal actually gets to the ROM. Because remember, that's why there's also this ABBA gate down here with this random vortex repeater, which I told you to place without explanation, and now there's the explanation 3 hours later. Yeah, now if we do the opening will work, and you can see how the top works. So there's the first full double. There's the second full double. And now we wait for the random ass falling edge. And now we're done. It's done. Except this. And the way that we update this is super simple, so I figured I would just end this tutorial on a lighthearted and happy note. So remember when this fires, when this dropper fires, even though this is already part of like 4 circuits now, it's also part of light gray, believe it or not. So when the signal comes through here, it fires this dust, which hits this dust, which then fires this downwards piston, and that downwards piston will close the wall. With that being said, we are done building the 1575 block 7x7 accidental full flush. I mean, not accidental, but I mean, it just happened to work out. I figured that if I do a full quad on the top, it will definitely be possible to do the flush corners, because otherwise, you know, funnel is so deep, like 7 deep for a 7x7. 6, that I can probably cut one from the front and like just do flush corners, because we have all the room. I mean, imagine if we had an extra layer in the front, what would we even put in it, right? They're just like literally just 4 singles in the front layer. Like there's so much room for wiring, which we don't need, as you can see. So I just decided to make it flush. So I just, yeah, I mean, 6x6 already, like I worked on a 6x6 cave full flush, and at 6x6 you can already go for full flush, and it being faster, smaller than this worked, by the way, than the, like, full flush is just smaller at that point than the regular, like the regular one has to be full flush to beat the regular one. So the full flush beats the regular one, so why not just do the full flush one as the regular one? Anyways, we're done now. Yes, if you have any questions, because I didn't explain anything in enough detail for you, first off, go fuck yourself. Second, write it in the comments, I'll answer it. Yeah, armor will be in the comments telling you on how you can probably like do this 6 stack way more efficiently with, like, oh, you need a boat on a carpet, and then you need a minecart, and then that's enough of a pillow to do this. And I'm just like, no, I don't care. I don't fucking care. And Space will be in the comments going like, oh no, Cube, actually this doesn't take 2 ticks to get on, this takes 1.5. And I'm like, fuck off. And then yeah, before I start flaming even more of my friends and lose them, I am going to bed just to rewatch this cringe fest tomorrow and put text on screen wherever I'm wrong. Actually, now that I'm here, might as well. How many droppers are there? Because, like, surely there are more than 18 droppers. There are 41 droppers. How did I... How where did 23 droppers go? The fuck? Anyways. uh, Thank you for watching. Honestly, like, these are really fun to do, even though I was being, like, sarcastic in, like a, you know, I make fun of, I make dramatic over-exaggerations for your entertainment. This is why I like doing these tutorials, and if you like watching them and like learning things, or just watch me go mental boom, yeah, I will keep doing them. I'm really trying to do the 5x5 lava lamp, and people tell me, like, Cube, you don't need to do need to do it in one take, but, like, doing it in one take just makes it feel way more rewarding to me, and, like, you know, I can just go into you can ask me to go into your plot and build this thing, and I will build this thing in, like, a 15-minute speed run of this. And, okay, not this one, the funnel maybe. The funnel doesn't have that many complicated bullshit clips! But yeah, you know what I mean. Like, there's just something which is so satisfying to me about doing these in one takes, and yeah, I'm trying. I know that if I can't get this 5x5 lava lamp out for the end of February, I will do it in, like, what, 3 parts. But I really try not to. So yeah, thank you for watching. Follow me Twitter, even though I don't post anything on Twitter. I only post, like, oh my god, I uploaded a new video. But, like, if you ring the bell and follow me and, like, subscribe on YouTube, then you find that anyways. And if you made it almost 4 hours into this video, thank you so much. And yeah. It always hurts doing this. But it does look pretty funny when you see all these entities just pile up. Like, what the fuck is this? I mean, these are you know what this is, but, like, why do they just, why do they it's just, like... Time to waste 4 hours of my life for the entertainment of the internet.